In sports, as in life, you win some, you lose some. One minute you're up, the next minute you're down. But it's important to be prepared for the bumps in your life, whether it's a game, your career, or your marriage. My motto is always be ready. Now, are you ready for some football?
The Dallas Cowboys have been the almighty carnivore that has devoured nearly everything on the NFL food chain, winning 3 of the last 4 Super Bowls. The Beast had appeared vulnerable earlier this year, but a big win last week gave a Jurassic spark to the Cowboys as they took down the San Francisco 49ers in an epic battle. Lurking in the tar pits tonight is a fierce opponent. The Packer monster is an evolving new species whose ancestors have lost their last 6 battles in Dallas. Brett Favre is the flesh and blood quarterback in tonight's primal encounter with Troy Aikman's Cowboys.
It's a big game for us because we hope to continue in our quest to get into the playoffs. It's a big game for Green Bay because they're looking to put the Dallas thing behind them.
I think beating Dallas would finally get us over the hump. It's like if we could get through Dallas, we could go on and win the Super Bowl.
It's a clash of the Titans as the Green Bay Packers battle the Dallas Cowboys on ABC's Monday Night Football.
Retaliatory strike in Dallas.
Well, it's Monday night and we're ready to strike. Our special forces are in full flight. We're coming by air and on the ground. Green Bay wants revenge in Cowboy Town. We gotta get ready. We gotta get right. The Pack is back in Dallas tonight. So get ready. I mean, get ready. Are you ready for some football? A Monday night party. We got Frank and Al and Dan. They're gonna get it kick-started. Lynn and the crew's all set. The crowd is psyched, 'cause all my rowdy friends are back on Monday night.
Downtown Dallas, Texas on a cool, clear southwestern evening. Located a few miles from downtown Dallas, the famed stadium with the hole in the roof, Texas Stadium. It is sold out, jam-packed tonight. The Green Bay Packers are in town to take on the Dallas Cowboys on Monday Night Football. Hello again, everyone. Frank Gifford with Al Michaels and Dan Deerdorf, and it doesn't get any better than this in the National Football League. The Dallas Cowboys and the Green Bay Packers, and the Cowboys are back. They got off to a horrendous start at the beginning of the season. They were 1-3. A lot of people had written them off, but they come into tonight at 6-4, a win tonight, and they moved to within 1 game of Washington in the NFC Eastern Division. They are indeed back. The Green Bay Packers are 8-2 in the NFC Central Division. They win tonight. They're 3 games ahead of Minnesota. They come in tonight on a mission. They have lost the last 6 games over the last 3 seasons here at Texas Stadium. 3 of them, because of the NFL scheduling formula, were regular season games, and the last one was a playoff game only last January when they lost the NFC Championship to these Cowboys. They'd like to change that. They'd like to not have the road to the Super Bowl go through Dallas, and they feel with a win tonight they can do just that, Al, but they come in, a beat-up football team. They're going to have to really lay it on the line tonight.
Missing their 2 top wide receivers and their starting sign-in. And Frank, I thought Brett Favre really summed it up very aptly at the top when he said we have to beat Dallas to get over the hump. Because for Green Bay, the road to the Super Bowl may not have to come through Dallas geographically in January, but may have to come through here psychologically tonight. To win tonight, Favre needs some help, specifically a good running game and a big night from Edgar Bennett. But more importantly, they need a great defensive effort. And they're allowing only 14 points per game. They have the number 2 ranked defense in the National Football League, but their defense is coming off a very shoddy performance in last week's loss to Kansas City. When the NFL schedule came out last spring, the Packers looked at November 18th at Dallas and thought about that game as the benchmark game of their 1996 season. Tonight's the night. Indeed, it's the benchmark game for the Green Bay Packers. Meanwhile, Dan, the Dallas Cowboys look at the schedule. So on November 18th, Green Bay comes to town, and they said, we know how to beat those guys.
We own these guys. That's exactly right, Al. That's what the Dallas Cowboys think about the Green Bay Packers, and why not? 6 wins in the last 3 years, and none of them really very close. close. The closest margin of victory was 10 points. What has carried the Cowboys so far has been the best defense in the National Football League. They are playing very well. Now, George Teague moves in tonight to replace Brock Marion, but these pieces just seem to fit the puzzle, and they play good, solid football. Offensively, the Cowboys are better. They're getting starting wide receiver Kevin Williams back. He's not played in the last 6 weeks. This will lessen the load on Deion Sanders playing offense. This is a football team that has the confidence of having beaten the Packers with some consistency, playing at home, and knowing full well that with wins against the 49ers and the Packers in a span of 8 days, they once again serve notice on the NFC. We are the team to beat. Right now down on the field is our partner Lynn Swan, and he's with Barry Switzer.
Dan, thank you very much. We're talking about the confidence this team must feel with their most current record over the Green Bay Packers, but do you build on that, or does it scare you the odds may not be in your favor?
Well, it's how you play. This team is different from last year's, and theirs is too. They're an improved football team. The key tonight will be us running the football. Troy's always thrown the ball well against them, and we protected Troy well, but the key will be Emmitt Smith and how we control the ball in the running game.
So that 75% completion rating is not going to be the key. It's going to be the running of Emmitt Smith.
It'll be the running, our offensive line, dominating, big guys up front. It's the same story every week. They all get tired of hearing it, but that's how the game's played.
And physical football.
Pretty easy.
All right, Barry. Thank you very much. Al?
All right, thank you, Lynn. So an electric atmosphere at Texas Stadium. It's a gorgeous night. Chris Boniol to kick off for the Dallas Cowboys. And Desmond Howard back to receive for the Green Bay Packers with Travis Jervey alongside. And here we go from Irving, Texas. The kick taken at the 6-yard line by Howard, who comes to the short side of the field and gets ridden out of bounds at the 29-yard line. And Herschel Walker, a very valuable special teams member now of the Dallas Cowboys, bumps him out of bounds. Brett Favre coming off his MVP season, and this year another potential MVP trophy to put in his case with 27 touchdown passes, only 8 interceptions. Bennett and Henderson in the backfield. Mickens and Don Beebe are the wideouts, and Keith Jackson the tight end. Rutgers, Taylor, Winters, Timmerman, and Dotson up front. Rutgers had not played because of knee surgery for the first half of the season, working his way back into the lineup, and tonight he gets the start at left tackle. Favre on first down throws, and it's knocked down at the line of scrimmage. Tony Tolbert getting a hand on it. It'll be 2nd and 10. The Dallas defense, the base 4-3, featuring Tolbert on one side, Hennings and Lett in the middle, and Carver the right end. Charles Haley back surgery and out. Randall Godfrey, a rookie from Georgia, makes his first start. Strickland in the middle, Smith on the outside. Along with Kevin Smith and Sanders at the corners, Teague, the former Packer, and Woodson are the safeties. 2nd and 10, and Bennett through the middle finds a nice little hole to pick up 6 up to the 35-yard line. Randall Godfrey making the tackle, and the crowd already in full frenzy.
Well, this is a crowd here in Texas Stadium as we look at Mark Chmura, who's out with that sprained arch. But this is a crowd, guys, not known as one of the most frenzied crowds in all of the NFL. They were implored tonight to get here early, be loud, and this is about as noisy as I've ever heard it here at Texas Stadium.
And waving towels on 3rd down and 5. The short drop by Favre, and the pass is incomplete, leading the intended receiver, Desmond Howard, covered well by Kevin Smith, and so Green Bay's first series, 3 and out.
And on both pass attempts, Brett Favre was working away from Deion Sanders. Kevin Smith is having a good year. He has a sore Achilles from an Achilles operation he had last year. It hasn't completely recovered, and they are going to attack him tonight.
It's one of the oldest adages in football, but it's almost easier. In fact, it is easier to open up a big game on defense. I think the Packers just found that out.
Hentrick to kick. Kelvin Martin fields it at the 22-yard line and brings it back to the 33, and that's where Dallas sets up shop. Jeff Thomason making the tackle. And here comes Troy Aikman, 59 seconds into the game, guiding the Cowboys last week to the big win in overtime against the 49ers. Perhaps a season-saving victory. Emmett Smith and Darrell Johnston in the backfield. Irvin and Sanders outside. Bjornsson the tight end. Tuanay, Newton, Donaldson, Allen, and Eric Williams. The interior five, the great offensive line.
How disappointing is it to have your opening series last 59 seconds?
First down at the 33-yard line. And Aikman to throw. And off a deep drop intended for Irvin, the pass is short, covered by Craig Newsome. Let's take a look now at the Green Bay defense. Playing brilliantly this season until last week. White, Dotson, Brown, and Sean Jones up front. Then the linebackers, a lot more speed this year than last. Simmons, Kuntz, and Williams. And in the secondary, you've got Newsome and Doug Evans, who was thrown out of last week's game in Kansas City. Butler and Robinson are the safeties. Evans thrown out after a very dubious call as you look at Deion Sanders on the sideline for the moment, and Kevin Williams in the game as a wideout. Second down and 10 from the 33. And Aikman going deep for Irvin, who somehow makes the catch off great coverage by Evans, who was right there with him. But Aikman with a perfect pass, and Irvin hauls it in. First down at the 36-yard line.
Well, the big man has so much concentration. That was not bad coverage on the part of Doug Evans at all. He was inside, right position where he should have been. But Michael Irvin has a way of going up and coming down with the football. Concentration completely. A great effort on the part of Michael Irvin. And it wasn't poorly thrown.
No, wasn't in it. It just was superior work, though, by Irvin.
Here's Emmett Smith's first carry of the night. That's a 4-yard gain. Everybody knows the Michael Irvin story because of the drug-related suspension. Missed the first 5 games of the year, but he's come back at 100% physically, and he's averaging better than 7 catches a game. There it is, 37 receptions in 5 games.
And that was number 38 against Miami. He was absolutely awesome in their win over Miami. A big one for Barry Switzer over Jimmy Johnson. He caught 12 in that game for over 180 yards. He can be dominant.
Second and 6 at the 32-yard line. Low score early in the first quarter. And they give it to Moose Johnston, who carries 1 or 2 times a game. And this time he takes it to the 28-yard line, where it'll be third down and call it a long 2.
Moose's 14th carry in the 11th game. So, yeah, he's not exactly a workhorse carrying the ball. But number 22 there, he wouldn't trade him in for anybody. One of the great lead blockers in the NFL is number 48, Darrell Johnston.
This will be an interesting call. Third and a long 2. And it'll be interesting to see whether they put it in the air or they decide to use their offensive line, give the ball to Emmett.
Ernie Zampese to make the call. There he is in the foreground. And they send Irvin in motion. He comes to the left side. Kevin Williams split to the right, and Aikman to throw it. Pump faking, buying time, and throws underneath. Irvin makes the catch, but well short of the first down as Doug Evans pushes him back.
I'm not sure that was even at the line of scrimmage. Aikman wanted to deliver it. There was good coverage. And he had to hold on.
Oh, Mike Holmgren arguing the spot.
Well, it's not a first down, but they are giving him a generous spot. It's still not a first down, though.
The coverage was good again by Evans, and Irvin had to come back to give Aikman the angle. And in doing so, he lost the first down.
So Holmgren upset over the spot, even though they're still a yard shy of the first down. And now a 45-yard attempt by Chris Boniol, one of the best in the league. And he looks like it right there. Splits the uprights. 3 minutes, 38 seconds into the game. It's the Cowboys leading the Packers 3-0. Goodyear, a look down at Texas Stadium, celebrating its 25th anniversary. The famed hole in the roof on a spectacular night in the Metroplex. Cowboys on top. Boniol just kicked a 45-yard field goal, and now to kick off. And he sends this one down to the 4-yard line. Desmond Howard is there. And oh, does he get popped by Billy Davis at the 28-yard line. Make it the 18-yard line. Davis, a wide receiver and special teams performer, and Joe Avizano, the special teams coach, loves that.
I'll tell you, special teams today in the NFL is unbelievable.
Yeah, that's Desmond Howard. I think he'd attest to that. Howard came almost to a complete stop trying to make a cut. Davis caught him at exactly the wrong time as far as Green Bay is concerned. And that may have rattled Howard a bit.
Green Bay 3 and out on its first possession. Now Edgar Bennett behind Henderson, who leads the way, and Henderson playing the Johnston role with a flag down, gets up to the 39-yard line, but a marker down back at the 16. Howard Rowe is the referee tonight.
And Green Bay has been down this road before if this is against the Packers. They have fallen behind early before here in Texas Stadium to disastrous results.
Well, Dotson was the right tackle for Green Bay was all wrapped up with Broderick Thomas. I don't know whether that drew the flag or not. Thomas was complaining.
We have offsetting penalties. Holding, number 72 on the offense. Personal foul on the defense. Penalties offset. Replay first down.
A colossal break for Mike Holmgren and the Packers. Frank called it. Earl Dotson right at the right of your screen, number 72. He has a hold of the jersey and just mauls Randall Godfrey, the linebacker. And right there at the end, you could see that's Darren Woodson. Is that 28 or 26 that grabbed it? 26, I think, Kevin Smith.
Kevin Smith.
That grabbed it. A monstrous break for Green Bay.
So back once we started, first down at the 18. It would have been an 18-yard gain had there been no Green Bay penalty from the 18-yard line. Favre going deep, has the open man. It's Keith Jackson, the tight end. He takes it to the 44. And with Mark Chmura, the starting tight end, gone for a month to a month and a half with an arch injury, Keith Jackson will play more and more big play here.
Of course, Keith Jackson getting a little long in the tooth for this game, and he liked the system when he was in there with Chmura. It's a question whether he can go a full game at this kind of speed. But the big man makes a good move to the inside, to the outside, wide open, and Favre hits him in stride. So we'll keep our eye on Keith Jackson, see how long he can go.
Now this is Dorsey Levin swinging to the outside. A couple of Cowboys run into each other, and he takes it up to the 49-yard line for a pickup of 6.
Ooh, and Desmond Howard gets a chance to come back in and get to put a shot on somebody. That must have felt good to Howard. He made the block out on the corner that allowed it to get outside, and after getting wrapped pretty good on the kickoff return, that must have felt good. Not known as a great blocker. Take a look at it here at the bottom of your screen. Right there's the block by Desmond Howard on Kevin Smith.
And he made sure he did not get the clip. Yep. He got the head in front.
And it was above the waist.
Green Bay at the 49-yard line. Second down and 4.
That's Earl Dotson. That's a false start on the right tackle.
Dotson having a rough night thus far.
To the snap. False start. 72 on the offense. 5-yard penalty.
ABC's Monday Night Football is being brought to you by Brewery Fresh Bud Light, who reminds you that fresh beer tastes better. Nicotrol. 6 weeks, 1 step. Take control with Nicotrol. Nike and the new Dodge. It's about change. 2nd and 9 from the 44-yard line. Favre guns one over the middle, caught in Dallas territory at the 47 by Keith Jackson, his 23rd catch of the season, and he is very close to a first down.
Good
Appears to be a little short.
Good delivery by Favre. Excuse me, Alvy. A lot of pressure. Keith Jackson, though, came across in motion. Watch this. And he'll break it right over the middle. And he clears, finds his spot, sets up Favre under pressure, hits him right in the chest.
Well, if Keith Jackson, guys, is going to be your tight end, this is the way that you have to utilize him. He's a much better receiver than he is a blocker. Keith Jackson is not going to make a lot of noise in your running game. Packers a little bit short for the first down, but Keith Jackson, one of the better receiving tight ends in football. And if you're going to ride him, that's the way you ride him in the passing game.
So Barry Switzer looking on as his defense now, tries to shift it on 3rd and inches from the 47-yard line. 9:11 remaining in the opening quarter. Cowboys on top 3-0. Henderson and Levens in the backfield. Split back set. And they send Levens in motion, and Favre will do it himself over left guard to the 46-yard line. First down, Green Bay.
Good call. Good athlete as a quarterback. He's strong. And he cares about this game, too. He plays at an emotional level that a lot of quarterbacks don't.
Dave Campo, the defensive coordinator, and his defensive unit number 1 in the NFL coming in. Pack number 2.
And they have carried the Cowboys to this point in the season. The offense has been downright disappointing most of the time. The defense has gotten them to this point.
From the 45-yard line, Favre under pressure and taken down. It is Shante Carver who takes him down. Tony Tolbert on Carver's back for the sack, back in Green Bay territory.
Well, Brett Favre wanted to go once again to Keith Jackson. George Teague, the number 1 draft pick for Green Bay in '93, cast off this past season, provided the coverage. Favre couldn't release the football, and Teague has got to be thrilled with that. He was upset when he was cut this past summer, and he has replaced Brock Marion. Favre looking for Jackson. Jackson picked up by number 30. He couldn't get rid of it.
But getting dumped, nothing new for Brett Favre. That's the 28th time this year that he's gone down. And Brett's forced to call a timeout. The play clock almost to 0. No way did the Packers have time to get off that play.
It'll be second down and 19 when we come back with 8:02 left in the quarter. 3-0 Dallas.
Dodge Stratus and Dodge Ram have just received the prestigious J.D. Power & Associates Appeal Award. Stratus tied for most appealing entry midsize car, and Ram receiving the award for the second year in a row as most appealing full-size pickup. The Appeal Award comes from the most knowledgeable automotive experts of all, consumers. Frank?
Life is a lot like football. Guy gets dumped on his crease, he's got to pop back up. Shake it off. Take this Favre kid. I don't know if he's the gutsiest quarterback in the league or just the best throwing nose tackle in the NFL. My point is this. When the clock finally runs out, it doesn't matter whether you got knocked down. What matters is whether you got back up. Could you top this off, please? What, am I talking to myself?
I have been off the nickel control.
Packers forced to take an early timeout after a 9-yard sack. Second down and 19.
We don't know exactly what Mike Holmgren said, but we're guessing it had something to do with take a couple of deep breaths, Brett. Let's just calm down here.
Green Bay spreading it out on second and 19, and they give the ball to Dorsey Levens, and he gets back into Dallas territory. Darren Smith rides him down at the 48-yard line, setting up a third down and 13.
That's an interesting call. I think that's the call that is saying to the entire offensive unit, let's settle down. Let's don't lose this thing up early in the game. Let's don't throw up the interception on second and long.
Well, Mike Holmgren has believed that in these last 6 games with the Cowboys that his big men have been dominated by the Cowboys' big men. And he has challenged his linemen, both offensively and defensively, to rise to this game, to be more physical, to not back off from any confrontation.
That's BB in motion, third and 13. Fake screen one way, then a middle screen to Jackson, but read perfectly by Dallas. It's Tolbert who makes the ankle tackle, 4th and long, and Green Bay to punt again.
The 6 defensive backs in the game, and nobody to take them out. They're just sitting there waiting for Keith Jackson, who broke back to the inside instead of behind the screen and lost whatever impact it might have had. But no matter what it would have been, he was not going to get the first down out of it.
Another good illustration, though, of the backbone of this Cowboy football team, and that's their defensive unit.
Craig Hentrick to punt. Cowboys set up a hopeful return. It's a wobbly and very short kick that goes out of bounds, and they'll spot it up near the 30-yard line, make it the 31, and that's where Dallas will take over after a 17-yard boot.
Oh, that's awful.
Yeah, when you wear number 17, you don't want the punt to go that distance.
You would like to find something nice to say about that, wouldn't you?
No.
Can't be done.
It was high.
Pennzoil, the first motor oil to fully meet the top.
Reggie White, the bulwark of the defensive unit. His group going to work now as the Cowboys have it for the second time. First down from the 31. Aikman, a perfect spiral to Eric Bjornsson, the tight end, doing a great job as Jay Novacek has sat out the season with a back injury, and the one-time quarterback from the University of Washington has a first down in Green Bay territory.
And the Green Bay Packers unbelievably were covering Eric Bjornsson, who was a wide receiver at the University of Washington, with George Kuntz, the middle linebacker. He was the nearest to him. He was in on the coverage, and this is not going to work, or you're going to have a lot of receptions to Bjornsson, and certainly a lot of attempts until they try to cover him with somebody more effective than a linebacker.
A wide receiver, and before that, a backup quarterback to Billy Joe Hobart and Mark Brunell. Emmitt Smith somehow found the road map and takes the right route and is thrust out of bounds at the 20 by Leroy Butler on a great curl, and Fritz Schirmer, the defensive coordinator of the Packers, has to wonder what's going on.
Is that 20 yards? If it is, what? It'll be his second 20-yard gain of the season?
His right route involved a left turn. What a dramatic cutback to the left by Emmitt Smith.
He has been struggling this year over the right side, right over the big man, Eric Williams, breaking it back when he sees the traffic, turning it on, ball in the right hand.
Got a little screen block there from Michael Irvin. Two big plays, and the Cowboys making it look easy offensively.
Each of them 25 yards. Smith's longest run of the year. Aikman going deep, but a little too deep for the lunging Herschel Walker.
How close was that?
Troy would love to have that over. Herschel Walker came out of the backfield, little out and up, and he was wide open. They're looking up for the replay, but I can tell you, Barry, he was wide open.
He sure was.
Watch him, 34. He breaks behind the wide receiver. They tried to cover him with the linebacker.
Wayne Simmons bites on Herschel's move to the sideline, and when Herschel turns it up towards the end zone, Simmons left way behind in a trail position.
Second and 10. Here comes the blitz. Smith is able to get to the outside, but can't turn the corner and is out of bounds at the 19-yard line. Emmitt, who had a lot of big runs, of course, over the years, this year held in check for the most part until tonight, had only one run of 20 or more yards, that against Philadelphia, and then his longest journey of the year was that last one, and there it is, once every 41 carries over a 6-season period, and then as of tonight, 2 in 216 carries.
And Barry Switzer told Emmitt Smith, "You are the man that has to carry us these last 6 games of the regular season. We cannot do it without you."
On third down and 10, Aikman forced to throw it away. Good pressure that time. Dotson and Reggie White coming bursting through.
Oh, yeah, they needed that, too, because they had a man open, and Troy had to dump it off. He dumped it to save the sack.
Now Reggie White gets through the double team. There he is at the top working against Eric Williams. Bjornsson gives him a shot before he releases. And you're right, that was a large play for the defensive unit of the Packers. A bone-old field goal here is by far and away the best they could hope for.
This a 37-yard attempt, Jet to hold it. He's made one from 45. And now splits the uprights again from 37. With 4:47 left in the opening quarter, it's the Cowboys 6, the Packers nothing. Plays limit Dallas to a field goal. And now the Packers will accept the Boniol kick down 6-0. Howard and Jervey are back to receive. Into the hands of Howard, who was buried by Billy Davis on the last run back, and this time he goes out of bounds as he crosses the 20-yard line. .438 left in the first quarter. It came that close to being 10-0. Instead, it's just 6-0. That's the lineup tomorrow right here on ABC with Roseanne, Life's Work Home Improvement, Spin City with Michael J. Fox and a brand new NYPD Blue. And then on Wednesday night, Ellen Townie's Grace Under Fire. Drew Carey, you met Drew's new girlfriend last week. This week, meet her husband in Primetime Live Wednesday night. Green Bay at the 22-yard line. Favre with 3 completions, all to Keith Jackson, and this time he finds Dorsey Levens, his first reception of the night. We talked at the top about Robert Brooks gone for the season, their number 1 wideout. Antonio Freeman, their number 2 wideout, broken arm, and he will be back in a couple of weeks. But it's been a patchwork receiving unit that Favre has had to go to over the past couple of weeks.
Well, not many other teams in the league can lay claim to the fact that they have lost both of their starting receivers and their starting tight end. There is their starting tight end.
They miss him almost more in the running game than they do the pass game. Terrific blocker.
2nd and 5 from the 27-yard line, and now this is their leading ground gainer, Edgar Bennett, up to the 30-yard line. Bennett closing in on 600 yards for the season and averaging 4.1 per carry. Brett Favre, when he had all of the pieces in place, as you can see early in the season, spectacular. First 6 games, 20 TDs, 3 picks. But over the last 4, as you can see, the pass rating way down and only 2 more touchdown passes than interceptions.
Sandy Carver had to leave the game for Dallas for some reason, and they're having a lot of confusion defensively.
3rd and a short 2 as the play clock is down to 3. And this is Levens, and he starts to stumble, and he stops short of the first down at the 29. So it's 3 and out. Schwantz with the tackle.
They weren't that confused.
Levens stumbled when he ran the screen pass to the far side of the field, and that time he stumbles over his own feet and falls when he's running to the right side. This is a pretty uniform surface down there. Traction in the footing is pretty good. Levens, his knees just buckle and he falls down.
It's a brand new surface this year, put in as Hendrick gets away a line drive kick taken by Kelvin Martin at the 30-yard line, and an 11-yard return up to the 41-yard line after a 42-yard boot.
Well, right now, the Green Bay Packers looking like a team that might have been thinking about this game for too long. Maybe they circled this game when it came out when the schedule was released back in the spring, and maybe they've been thinking about this for too long, guys. That can happen, Frank.
It can. And right now, I'd be concerned if I were Mike Holmgren. My defense has been on that field a little too long. The offense has got to give them a little bit of a break. They have to be just a little punched out.
2:35 left in the quarter. 6-0 Dallas. Aikman from the 41-yard line. And he checks off and hits Emmitt Smith. Not a bad safety valve, but nothing happening out there. No blocking available, and stopped at the 43 after a gain of a yard, maybe 2.
Emmitt, I think, made one move too many, Frank. He put the initial fake on at that time. He should have just bursted upfield and picked up a couple. Instead, back inside and comes up with zip.
I don't think the Emmitt we have known over the past few years would have been doing that. I think he's still feeling the effects from that neck injury in Chicago, the ankle, the shoulder, and he's just not 100% yet.
2nd and 9 from the 42-yard line. Aikman goes the other way. Irvin gets open as Newsome was playing softly, and he's finally pushed out of bounds in Green Bay territory at the 42-yard line by Eugene Robinson.
What a playmaker. Should have been stopped short of the first down or right at the first down marker. Instead, he turns it into a big play. Fritz Shermer pacing the sidelines. What do I have to do? I had my man in position. Single coverage. It was Newsome. Newsome was right there. You got to make that tackle, or you got to make him come to the inside. If you're going to lose him so he comes to the inside where you have help.
That's about as soft as I've ever seen Michael Irvin played. Newsome gave him 10 yards at the 42-yard line. Here's Emmitt Smith picking up 4 to the 38.
Right now, I don't know how they're going to get the focus back, but the Green Bay Packers starting to look like a team, like a deer with headlights on them. They are a little wide-eyed.
And they're a little wide-eyed because they can think about that recent history. Only time in the history of the league one team has beaten another in the regular season and then in postseason over 3 consecutive years. And as you can see, Dallas piling up a lot of points in every one of those games.
The closest Green Bay has come is 10 points in all 6 of them.
2nd and 6 from the 38-yard line in the final minute of the opening quarter. Little swing pass to Emmitt Smith, and he goes down a little short of the first down at the 35 as Wayne Simmons was there to stop him.
Well, one of the great matchups tonight is going to be Reggie White against Eric Williams. Reggie White, a certain Hall of Famer. Eric Williams, one of the better tackles in the league. And the fires got fanned a little bit this week when a writer from Dallas, writing an article up in Milwaukee, said Reggie White, Betty White, it doesn't make any difference who the Packers put out there. Eric Williams is going to pound them into submission. It infuriated Reggie White. Hasn't talked to anybody all weekend, and the Packers expecting a big game from Reggie.
3rd and 2, corner blitz, but Aikman gets it off to Kmart, Kelvin Martin, and that's a first down on what will be the final play of the period. End of 1 in Texas. It's the Cowboys 6 and the Packers nothing. And Monday Night Football resumes after this message and a word from our ABC stations. Stadium, Irving, Texas. Start the second quarter. Al Michaels, Frank Gifford, Dan Dierdorf, and Lynn Swan. Dallas dominant through the first 15 minutes, leading 6-0 and driving again. First down at the 29-yard line. Sherman Williams, who's Emmitt Smith's backup, is in the game at tailback. And Aikman lofting one for the end zone, but a little short. Irvin covered well on the play by Newsom, who said, "Not that time, babe."
Well, had that ball been thrown well, though, that could have been 6 points. Hard to fathom why they are covering Michael Irvin with single coverage.
I think the one thing you come out of looking at those numbers is that you could have an even bigger lead by the Dallas Cowboys than just 6-0. Packers somehow have to just get their feet back on the ground. They're just playing unsure of themselves. You see their receivers, running backs falling down, making mistakes, tripping and stumbling.
2nd and 10. Emmitt Smith back in the game on a sweep. Looks like an old USC play, and he picks up 6 at the 25-yard line. You recognize that one, Frank?
Oh, I do. I saw Larry Allen, Dan's idol, out in front of it.
Well, what a lead block by Daryl Johnston to get it started. Oh, the Cowboys are just the most. Take a look at the top of your screen. Watch the lead block right there by Daryl Johnston as he buries Gabe Wilkins. Just puts him flat on his back.
And that was 700 pounds of guards pulling, or offensive linemen pulling ahead of him. You saw number 61, Nate Newton, and Larry Allen out in front.
What Barry Switzer tell us, it's hog butchering time, and that's when these guys start to assert themselves.
Mid-November, 3rd and 5, and the pass is dropped at the 22. Wouldn't have been a first down anyway by Eric Bjornsson. So the Packer defense able to stiffen again and hold Dallas to a 3rd field goal attempt.
And that has to upset Barry Switzer. He knows that this is a Green Bay team that has some firepower, and you even when you're playing this well, you only get so many opportunities down in scoring territory, and to repeatedly come out of it with field goals. In some ways, this has to be a little uplifting to Green Bay and a little discouraging to Dallas.
Boniol now with a 43-yard field goal attempt. He's 2 for 2. And he has an early hat trick. And if this were a fight after about 4 rounds, Dallas would have won every round. But Green Bay is still in the fight. The Cowboys can't deliver the knockout blow. It's only 9-0.
Perfect short set by Eric Williams. He attacks Reggie White, hits him helmet to helmet, stops Reggie White in mid-stride as he's trying to go upfield. It's a beautiful job of mixing it up by Eric Williams on his pass protection.
Boniol's kick taken by Desmond Howard at the 1-yard line, and he's tackled up at the 23-yard line. Stopped there by Jim Schwantz. Monday Night Football is being brought to you by all the team members at Saturn, a different kind of company, a different kind of car. Liberty Mutual Insurance, helping people live safer, more secure lives. That's the freedom of liberty. And Brewery Fresh Budweiser, who reminds you fresh beer tastes better.
Reggie White on the right. Certainly in the twilight of his career. Eric Williams battling his own problems. Still not the player he was prior to knee surgery a couple years ago after an auto accident. One of the marquee battles tonight.
Here's Edgar Bennett now, and Bennett breaks one up the middle, up to the 33, and very close to a first down. Randall Godfrey and Darren Woodson in on the stop. Edgar Bennett, who could still be a very big part of tonight's game. It's only 9-0, and you can't come out of the game plan, and they need him to have a big night on the ground.
Packers coming with a draw on first down. They've tried a number of screens tonight. This is trying to get the attention of the Dallas defense, slow down the pass rush against Brett Favre, and it could have an impact. Both plays designed to do just that.
Close enough to measure. It's almost to your benefit to be that short right here. Instead of having a 1st and 10, why not have 2nd and 2 inches?
As long as you convert.
Right.
I'll always take the first myself.
Well, the first 3 possessions right there, 3 and out. Then they got something started, but were forced to punt, and then 3 and out again.
Well, Mike Holmgren won't panic. You mentioned, Al, staying with the game plan. There's no doubt they have to run the football. Even behind, they have to run the football. They have no alternative. They have no other way to win.
2nd and inches, and they give it to Dorsey Levens, the tailback out of the I set. He takes it up to the 35. Fred Strickland makes the stop, and that's a first down. To South Florida we go next Monday night. Great matchup. The Pittsburgh Steelers coming off their win yesterday over the Jaguars, rolling along at 8-3, and the Dolphins with a huge win, trailing early but knocking off Houston. Steelers at Dolphins next Monday night. First down at the 35-yard line. 9-0 early second quarter. Dallas on top. Flag. Favre deep and incomplete, intended for Don Beebe, covered by Kevin Smith.
Well, they may get the Packers for a false start.
It happens so often when you change the play at the line of scrimmage. One of the offensive linemen
the tackle
in the wrong stance or something. He tries to adjust it.
The tackles, I think it's going to be Ken Rutgers, the left tackle. The tackles are as crazy as it sounds. The farthest guy is from the quarterback, even though it's only one player removed. But it's impossible to hear. In a game like this, the offensive tackles will commit most of the false starts.
Snap, false start. Number 73 on the offense. 5-yard penalty. First down.
They call Aaron Taylor the left guard. It was Ken Rutgers, the left tackle. I think Aaron might have been wrongfully accused. On the bottom of our screen is Ken Rutgers, the right tackle. He moves. The left tackle, Ken Rutgers, was the guy that poor Aaron Taylor, just doing his job, gets singled out by the referee. Unfairly so.
Sorry, Mrs. Taylor.
1st and 15 at the 30-yard line. Favre comes back this way to Bennett, who makes the catch, but it's a minimal gain. I was thinking, Dan, maybe the best way for a fan to think about that is to try to talk to somebody in a noisy stadium next to you and then try to talk to a guy 1 seat removed.
That's a wonderful illustration, Al, and it is so true. You're down in your stance. You're up in your stance. It doesn't make any difference. Just that extra 4 feet or so that you are removed from the quarterback. Not to mention the fact that you, by and large, are attempting to block the fastest man on the defensive line, the defensive end who's attempting to get upfield. You're a little jittery, prone to jump.
Second down and 15, and this is Levens, who gets back to just about the original line of scrimmage, which is the 35-yard line, 3rd and long with 11:40 to go in the half.
I think very wisely, even though they are down 9-0, they're still continuing to try to make the running game work and to keep the Dallas defense in focus. The fact that they will run the football. They've been coming with the draw. They've been coming with the screen. And they're trying to minimize the pass rush against Brett Favre. That's the best way to do it.
3rd and 10. Levens is the single back in this set. 5-man rush, and it's enough of a rush to send Brett Favre all the way back inside his 20. Broderick Thomas, the first guy in there, and then Leon Lett the second.
Broderick Thomas has moved over to a down lineman with the loss of Charles Haley. He used to play a down lineman in a 3-4 defense. They've moved him over there, and he probably, other than Charles Haley, is the best pass rusher on this Dallas team at the moment.
Well, this is a look that they put in. They're calling it Packer, where Thomas actually comes from an up position, stacked in there behind the nose tackle. It confuses the offensive lineman. Is he a linebacker? Is he a defensive end? Is he a defensive tackle? That time the Packers turned him loose and paid the price.
16-yard sack. Now Hentrich booms one to the 30-yard line. Kelvin Martin with a 17-yard return up to the 47 after a 51-yard boot. 10:45 to the half. The world champions looking every bit like the world champions. 9-0 Dallas. Cowboys take over again at the 48. They've had the ball 3 times, and they have 3 field goals. The Packers have had the ball 4 times, and they've punted 4 times. 9-0 Cowboys. First down at the 48-yard line. Sanders in motion toward the inside. Emmitt Smith gets to the 50, buried there. Let's check in with Lynn Swan. Lynn?
Thank you, Al. One of the things the Packers said they wanted to do to change the outcome of this ball game was change how they cover Michael Irvin. Cover him like they covered Jerry Rice, to get in his face on the line of scrimmage, disrupt the timing on the pass pattern. But tonight, what they've been doing to Michael Irvin is lining up a full 7 yards off the line of scrimmage. They've got to get in his face, get physical with the receiver who thinks of himself as being physical, and take a chance to stay with it all night long. Now,
good point, because Irvin tonight, 3 catches, 48 yards. He's one-on-one here with Newsome, second down and 8 from the 50-yard line. Newsome still playing soft. The pass goes to the other side, and it's Kevin Williams back from his broken foot, making his first start in a month and a half, tackled by Evans after a first down.
It was 7 weeks ago at Buffalo when he broke that foot. When him coming back is one of the reasons I think we are seeing less concern about Michael Irvin. We are not seeing the pack roll up and bump him at the line of scrimmage, as Lynn was describing, because of Kevin Williams. Kevin Williams, we know, can make big plays for you. We had him at Arizona in our final game last year. He caught 9 passes for over 200 yards and a touchdown. He can make the play.
From the 40, Aikman throws, catch made, 30-yard line. It's Michael Irvin. He makes the catch despite Newsome saying no catch. 4 grabs tonight for Irvin.
And he could do that all night until they decide to do something about getting in his face at the line of scrimmage, putting a linebacker in between he and Aikman, or giving Newsome some kind of help. Newsome lined up, I tell you, with this kind of a receiver as a defensive back, you really feel isolated out there. This is a man who can take it down, take the deep out on you, take it into the end zone, run the great fade on you. You need help.
Second and inches at the 30-yard line. Johnston, the fullback. Smith, the tailback, and they give it to Emmitt. And he picks up the first down at the 28-yard line. Kuntz and Brian Williams make the stop.
I think the classic difference in the way you cover Rice versus the way you cover Michael Irvin is I don't think the Green Bay corners have the confidence to come up to the line of scrimmage and challenge Michael Irvin. Irvin is a much stronger and a much more physical receiver than Jerry Rice.
Oh, he loves it up there.
And to come up and challenge Michael Irvin at the line of scrimmage is a battle that I don't think either Newsome or Evans can win.
But they need to do something other than leave him out there all alone. It's going to be a nightmare.
This time they're tighter on him, and Aikman comes underneath and hits Johnston for a 1-yard gain to the 27-yard line, and Santana Dotson came in that time and knocked Aikman down. Troy will be 30 years old on Thursday.
Comes Dotson, number 71, a free agent pickup from Tampa Bay during the offseason to relieve Reggie White a little bit. He plays on the inside, and to try to keep the double teams down on Reggie White, they brought in Dotson, and he's done a very effective job against the run and the pass.
Second and 8. Smith to the short side of the field, and nothing happening. Knocked down by George Kuntz, number 53. Cowboys dominant, but it's like you're beating your opponent with that jab, and you keep jabbing and jabbing and piling up the points, and they've piled up 9 of them, and the Packers are lucky the Cowboys have piled up only 9.
By and large, when they get pressed back towards their own, there's Ernie Zampese, but when they get pressed back towards their own end zone, the Green Bay defense has stiffened. What you can't get past to this point in time is the Green Bay's offense has done nothing to this point.
3rd and 9. 3 receivers were set to the left, and the pass is thrown over the middle and is incomplete. And it may have hit the umpire.
It did. It bounced right off the back.
Yep.
That time they rolled up and double covered Michael Irvin.
Ron Box in the ump tonight.
And they rolled Craig Newsome up, and they brought over Leroy Butler, and
Botchin did his best to get out of the way. He did the only thing an umpire can do, and that's, get as low a profile as you can, but it just skipped right off his back.
Botched up a would-be completion.
Well, Bonio's working on the record book tonight.
45-yard attempt. He's 3 for 3, and this one is good. The other 3 were right down the middle. This one just inside the left upright. Bonio with all of the points tonight. 12-0 Dallas. Bonio 4 field goals, first player in Cowboys history to do that. The NFL record, most field goals in a first half, 5. Tom Dempsey as an Eagle in 72. Rich Karlis as a Viking in 89 in a Monday night game against Cincinnati. The busy Bonio kicks off, taken in at the 5-yard line by Desmond Howard. And he's taken down at the 23-yard line with 6:20 remaining in the opening half. Cowboys on top 12-0. Well, guys, I guess the Cowboys are dead, right? We've been reading about it all year. They're really dead, aren't they?
Well, you know what they're thinking right now. San Francisco last week, the Green Bay Packers this week, and they will have served notice that, maybe a little prematurely to throw shovel full of dirt on top of that.
It's been vindication for Barry Switzer. 3 weeks ago, it was Miami. They did lose to Philadelphia, but then became big, and they beat San Francisco, as you said, Dan. They're looking awfully good tonight.
This game far from over. What the Packers have to do is overcome the doubt that's in their minds right now.
Favre's pass is knocked down to the line of scrimmage. It'll be 2nd and 10.
It's the doubt of having been here so often and losing every single game, and here they are. It is as desperately as they have talked and tried to avoid this situation. Here they are losing in the first half in Dallas again.
It's so difficult with this offense, the West Coast offense that Mike Holmgren has run so well for the 49ers and now Green Bay. It's so difficult to do it without your 2 starting wide receivers and your starting tight end. That's what they're trying to do tonight.
2nd and 10. Favre throws, juggled, and then caught. Hauled in by Terry Mickens, who makes his first catch. 3rd-year guy out of Florida A&M, who's been a special teams performer for the most part, but he'll be starting now. Sherman Lewis, the offensive coordinator, looking on at a guy who's being considered very strongly for the head coaching position at the University of Kentucky.
Favre getting plenty of time. The ball is right in there for Mickens, a little bit high, but he was able to control it before he went out of bounds.
3rd down and 2 at the 31-yard line. And Favre throws. The catch is made, but short of the first down as Mickens makes the catch again. They needed a couple of yards and got only 1.
Oh, and how does he sit down there? They run a clearing route, and he comes in behind it, and it is his job to get to the first down marker. That's a pretty good-looking spot. I don't think Mike Holmgren's running out to argue that one.
No, but I think they're still short.
But he just did not take the pattern far enough. Fred Strickland was there to the inside, but you have to go to get the first down yardage. And he did not.
And they have to send Hentrick in to punt again, a 5th time.
And another 3 downs and out for the Packers. And believe me, I have been there. Self-doubt is rampant right now on the Green Bay sideline.
And it works on both sides of the ball too, Dan, because the defense, they really haven't had a chance to get a breather. They're going to go right back out there again.
Hendrick to punt. Kelvin Martin back to receive it. And his 5th punt of the night is his best one yet. Fielded at the 15-yard line. Martin looking for space and can bring it back only to the 20. 53-yard boot. Nolan Cromwell, the special teams coach, looks on. Dallas takes over again, up by a dozen. Down 12-0. Dallas has it again at the 20-yard line. Brett Favre unable to generate anything with the offensive unit except for one series, a 7-play series, and the Cowboys have it again at the 20-yard line. Smith. You know, a lot of Green Bay fans have to wonder, why do the Packers keep coming here? In postseason, it's very simple. You get a home game by seeding, so the Cowboys have earned it. The rest of it's all formula. And guess what? As the Packer fans make their way down here, if Green Bay wins its division, which is highly likely, and Dallas finishes second in the NFC East, which is very conceivable, there it is, in 1997, guess what? The middle one. Green Bay comes to Dallas again. So it's not some nefarious plot. It's a formula. 2nd and 7. Smith over the middle. And the formula simply states that next year, NFC Central 1 plays at NFC East 2. Period.
Unfortunately for the Packers, over the years, that formula has spelled disaster. And we are approaching that stage here. And again, though, the Packers, the players don't feel this, but the fans and Mike Holmgren, they have to be semi-uplifted by the fact that it's only 12-0. It could be so much worse. They're just one big play, one return, one interception, one fumble recovery from getting back in this ballgame.
3rd and 2, and this is Kevin Williams making the catch, and that's a first down with 3.5 minutes to go in the half.
Good read by Williams, reading the blitz with Troy Aikman, and Williams, who's been gone 7 weeks, is picking it up in stride.
But Williams did run that pattern far enough to pick up the first down. He moves the chains for the Cowboys. It is good coverage, and it's a good hit by Newsome. But Kevin Williams, back after 6 weeks, did his job.
1st and 10. Newsome now locking up on Irvin from the 34-yard line. Aikman protected well again, and then throws too high, intended for Dion, covered by Evans.
Boy, Dion was open.
I don't know. I just get the feeling that Dion and Troy Aikman really are not quite in sync.
Dion broke that pattern off, and you're right. It doesn't appear that Troy expected him to. Dion gets a push off on Evans, but certainly Aikman expected him to be a good 4 or 5 yards farther downfield.
2nd and 10 at the 34-yard line. And Emmitt Smith to the 40. Well, Aikman was talking to us last night about Dion. He said, look, he's a fantastic defensive player, but he just doesn't spend that much time on offense, and he's had to play both ways, and it takes a lot of time for a quarterback, no matter how great he is, and a receiver to get in total sync.
Well, he works all day Wednesday when they put the offense in, basically. Sanders will work on defense. He comes over and works on offense on Thursday, so he really is getting half of it. And he's coming into it, like Aikman said, he's not a wide receiver. This is something you grew up playing in high school and college, and he just tried it the last couple of years.
But his role will be diminishing now that Kevin Williams is coming back.
3rd down and 4. Aikman buying time. Then throws, and it's caught up at the 48-yard line. It winds up in Bjornsson's hands. I think he may have been trying to get it into Irvin. Robinson made the tackle.
No, that was just a great throw by Troy Aikman. He is not the most agile of quarterbacks, but he knew he was going to get hammered. He threw it back across the body and got the completion.
Irvin was in the neighborhood. He was being jostled, and Bjornsson was behind him, but it's enough for the first of the 2-minute warning. Goodyear providing the aerial photography. What a spectacular shot. Very colorful downtown Dallas. Beautiful sight. Pull back. We're in Irving, just outside Big D, home of Texas Stadium. 2 minutes to go. First half. Cowboys leading 12-0. First down from the 49-yard line. And Moose Johnston makes the catch and rolls down at the 45-yard line after a gain of 6.
Also stop the clock with 1:54 remaining in the first half. And another look at Texas Stadium. We've got some dramatic changes and maybe some more in the future.
2nd and 4. And this is Smith making the catch, losing the football, and that was the break that Green Bay really could have used. Wayne Simmons knocked it loose, but Emmett was there to get it back.
It's not often you see a player arguing that I didn't make the catch. Yeah. I was juggling the ball. Normally, that's a defensive back that goes through that routine. Emmett maintaining I never had possession. Let's see if he's right.
Well, he caught it with his legs, really.
Yeah.
He may have had a valid point.
Yeah. He may. He never did. He control that football.
3rd and 13. Clock down to 1:12. And Aikman guns it. It's Kevin Williams. Breaks loose over the middle. Takes it to the 25 on a first down. Cowboys have all of their timeouts remaining, and they elect to use their first right here.
The Cowboys are back, and Kevin Williams is back. Taking it straight down the field, broke it underneath the zone, and he was wide open, and Troy Aikman put some smoke on that one. And a backer is hurt.
Bookend, Sean Jones is just getting up right now. He was shaking on the last play.
Here's Reggie working against Eric Williams. Williams comes up to the upper body with some good work, and Reggie White just goes to the ground.
Might have been well advised, too, because Larry Allen was coming out there to help out Eric Williams.
Well, I'm not sure that Reggie White can remember the last time that he only had a single team block where one guy was on him for more than a play or two. This guy has been double teamed, triple teamed, quadruple teamed, and for good reason. But Reggie White facing a real challenge in the latter stages of the 1996 season, trying to find the old Reggie White.
First down, Sean Jones out, Gabe Wilkins in at the other end. The right end spot, and Aikman, 3-man rush, has to dump it off. Enough pressure. Irvin came back to try to make the grab over the middle, incomplete. 59 ticks left in the half. Cowboys have 2 timeouts remaining. 12-0 Dallas.
Dallas having a really difficult time. They're not so much inside the 20, but from between the 20 and the 30-yard line tonight, they just have not been able to generate any offense whatsoever.
Well, you got to give the Packers some credit for that. The number 2 ranked defense in the NFL coming into tonight's game. One of the truly stellar defensive coordinators in the game for a long time, in Fritz Shurmur. And talented personnel. They've just been having to play too much.
2nd and 10. And Moose Johnson gets ridden out of bounds. In fact, there's a great little assistant coach matchup tonight with Ernie Zampese calling the plays for Dallas. Fritz Shurmur on the other side, the defensive coordinator for Green Bay. The two of them were on the same. Ernie, knock off that smoking. We told you. The two of those guys on John Robinson's staff were the Rams for years.
Well, both of them have been around a long time. Ernie Zampese finally came here. He recommended Norv Turner a few years ago when he was defensive coordinator and asked to come here. Offensive coordinator was asked to come here. Norv Turner went to Washington, and he finally came to the Cowboys.
I wonder if what Ernie means when he runs a draw.
3rd and 7, and Emmitt Smith says, give me a timeout with the play clock ticking down. And they do get it. They gave him the timeout before a delay penalty would have ensued. Their second timeout. 54 ticks left. Simmons thought it should have been a penalty. Big rivalry weekend coming up in college football. Noon Eastern, 9 a.m. out west. Michigan and Ohio State have at it this year in Columbus. And then later on, Michigan State, Penn State, SC, UCLA, Maryland, Florida State, Texas Tech against Oklahoma. Second half of the doubleheader. College football this Saturday. 3rd down and 7 now for the Dallas Cowboys at the 20-yard line.
And the best thing Green Bay could hope for here is to give Boniol a chance to go even deeper into the Cowboy record books.
He's already kicked 4 field goals. 3rd down and 7 out from the 20-yard line. Aikman throws. It's caught by Sanders, and he gets taken down, and Boniol will have exactly that opportunity as Brian Williams makes the tackle. So Boniol will now try to become the 3rd man in the history of the league to kick 5 field goals in a first half, and the 4th man in the history of the league to kick 5 field goals in any half.
And that was a pretty good tackle by Brian Williams on Sanders coming across on a crossing pattern. He barely got Sanders down. Dion, of course, one of the most elusive open field runners in the league. Barely dragged down by Williams.
35-yard attempt. This is his shortest of the night. John Jett puts it down, and this one is just good with a capital J to tie his own Cowboy record for most field goals in a game at 5. He, Roger Ruzek, and Eddie Murray each with a quintet, and we still have 30 minutes to play. 15-zip. Chris Boniol working his way into the record book. The record for most field goals in a game is 7, but there's the record for a half. Dempsey is an Eagle in 72. Carlos is a Viking in 89. Boniol tonight. And Bakken is a Cardinal in 73.
These two teams, who would have thought, though, with 7 seconds remaining in the half, all the points would be put up by a field goal kicker.
Yeah. Little ground ball. 7 ticks left, taken at the 25-yard line, and that's Jeff Thomason, a tight end, who brings it back to the 42 as time expires. And really the game not as close as the score would indicate, because it's been totally Dallas, completely Dallas. Cowboys leading 15-0. Chris Berman halftime highlights, and then we'll talk with John Elway of the 10-1 Denver Broncos at halftime. And we'll return after this message from the NFL and a word for our ABC stations.
I don't know what you say in the locker room, Dan. You're down 15-0. You have the nightmare of the last 3 years here at Texas Stadium. You come in, I think, and what I would imagine Mike Holmgren would say, let's go back to, well, we started this football game. We're going to try to run the ball. We're only down 15-0. We've been dominated, but with just 15 points, that's not too bad considering what happened.
No, it's not. And you like to start the play. You like to start play here in the second half with something positive. And what happens? The very first play is a kick out of bounds that gives the Cowboys excellent field position at the 40. Rather than a cheesehead, that was a bonehead. That's just a gift of 15 or 20 yards.
Cowboys at the 40. They start with Smith as the tailback and Johnson as the fullback. Out of the eye, and it's Emmett to the 44-yard line, tackled by Leroy Butler. Let's check in with Lynn Swan. Lynn?
Al, I talked to Mike Holmgren when he came in the locker room, and he said in the first half they played a lot more. Dallas played a lot more 8-man defensive front than he expected, and they put a safety over Keith Jackson, taking him away. He said the second half, the major change is they're going to throw the ball to the outside, challenge their young receivers to the outside to make things happen. Al?
Yeah, they're going to have to do something because the Cowboys have stymied them completely. Meanwhile, the Green Bay defense doing a decent job, decent to the extent they've limited them to 5 field goals and no touchdowns. Emmitt Smith picks up 3 to the 47, tackled by Butler. And Emmitt tonight with 12 carries for 58 yards. Here are the numbers through the first 30 minutes of competition. And Dallas with a better than a 3-1 edge in total yardage.
We had no turnovers in this ball game, but just complete dominance up and down the line by the Cowboys.
The Packers had a ton of turnovers early in the year, but now they've gone 11 quarters or almost 3 games without forcing a turnover. And do they ever need one soon? 3rd and a deuce from the 48. And that's a little low, and it's 4th down. Darrell Johnston, the intended receiver. Evans covering. And John Jett to punt for the first time tonight.
That in itself is quite a statistic. Green Bay ranked second in defense. This is the first time that Dallas has been forced to punt.
Desmond Howard back to receive it. Nice high arcing kick. Fair catch called for at the 14-yard line. That's where the Packers start. Deep in their own territory. 1:38 into the third period. 15-0 Cowboys.
What you're looking at right there with Michael Irvin has been going on for the last 2 minutes. He has been up and down the Dallas sidelines, ranting and raving, talking to his receivers, Coach Hubbard Alexander, to anybody that'll listen.
Green Bay has it from the 14-yard line, and Favre gets taken down. Tried to avoid the sack and couldn't at the 10. Tony Tolbert gets to him.
Well, no stranger in sacking the quarterback. Tolbert involved in a sack earlier in the first half. Came into this game with 8. Again, he's just working around the corner and then sneaks back to the inside on Earl Dotson. Brett Favre, the story there, he had nowhere to go with the football. Wasn't even close to throwing it.
Good coverage downfield.
Yeah.
Second and 14. And Favre's throw is low and behind the intended receiver, Terry Mickens. You know, it's such a wacky sport. 4 or 5 weeks into the season, the Packers look like Super Bowl champions. The Cowboys look awful.
Well, that was Terry Mickens there, and when he should have been thrown to Antonio Freeman. And Favre, they're just totally out of sync.
Well, against some teams, it's apparent that the Packers are able to overcome the loss of Freeman, the loss of Brooks, and now having to deal with the loss of Chimera. It's apparent that against a really top echelon team, that weakness is really glaring.
Third and 14, and they're late getting to the line and have to hurry it. Favre avoids the sack, lost one deep downfield, and it's a little short for Beebe.
And Beebe doesn't even have a catch yet, does he?
No.
Beebe is working on a goose egg here tonight.
And he was not the intended receiver. Favre got in trouble once again, forced out of the pocket. Saw a streaking Beebe trying to clear an area. Underneath, Beebe wasn't even looking for the ball. Favre in trouble right here. And way short.
Packers 1 for 7 on third down tonight.
And another 3 downs and out catastrophe for the Green Bay offense.
Patrick the punt. Out of his end zone. Good booming kick. 54 yards. Kelvin Martin from the 36 gets upended at the 41. In 32 and a half minutes, the Packers have 3 first downs and trail 15-0.
AT&T presents A World Without Limits. What team holds the record for Super Bowl appearances? Stay tuned.
Here's the thing. Most long-distance plans, very complicated.
Oh, yeah.
But the AT&T one-rate plan, very simple.
How simple?
Calls from home are one low rate all the time.
How much?
It's 15 cents a minute to anybody in America at any time.
And this is AT&T.
That's right.
One rate all the time.
Exactly.
Is there any time when this is not the rate?
There is no time when this is not the rate.
I don't get it.
Am I just being unclear?
The Dallas Cowboys have participated in more than a quarter of them. 8 in total. More than any other franchise. And with 5 Lombardi trophies, no team has extended the border of excellence further than the team from Big D.
Downtown Dallas on a sparkling night, and the Cowboys playing a relatively sparkling game. Unable to get into the end zone, but they've been dominant in every other facet tonight. 15-0. Cowboys lead it. They have it first down at the 41-yard line. Aikman sets up, hits Moose Johnston, and he's taken down at the 48-yard line. The tackle made there by Newsome after a gain of 7.
Well, there was one instance where Reggie White got underneath Eric Williams and drove him back. It just was a quick pattern, and Aikman was able to get rid of the football. But this, I'm sure, is getting to that point of the ball game where this is becoming very discouraging to the Green Bay defense. When you are continually on the field and you sit there and you watch your offense, only 3 first downs, it's tough. It's very difficult to maintain discipline and focus.
2nd and 4, and Smith gets tackled here by Brian Williams at the 45-yard line.
This is an admirable effort by the Green Bay defensive team here tonight, playing this game literally all by themselves. Again, the big guys, and a good look at what would have been holding years ago, but now is just an accepted way of blocking.
Fritz Sherman, the defensive coordinator. You saw the deal there. Reggie White taking it through the inside, and Brian Williams looping to the outside, totally disrupting the run blocking of the Cowboys.
3rd down 6 now from the 45-yard line. Aikman throws and broken up. Leroy Butler got a hand in. Kevin Williams looks around for a flag and doesn't find any, and John Jett will punt again.
This time the Cowboys are 3 and out. Number 1 ranked defense, Dallas. Number 2 ranked defense in Green Bay, and they're playing that way.
Just beautiful, beautiful look at Leroy Butler laying out and getting that football. Well, if you can't do it on offense, you got to try to do it on special teams. You got to try to do it defensively. Maybe Desmond Howard can make something happen for the Packers.
Heisman Trophy winner a few years back at Michigan. Drifts back, takes it in at the 10-yard line, and can only run it back to the 15, and a flag comes in. Darrell Johnston was down there to make the play. Howard Rowe has had a relatively quiet night.
Well, we haven't seen a turnover in this game yet either, have we?
Not one.
Packers had forced 29 in their first 8 games, but none now in their last 2.5. And this one against Green Bay, pushing them further back. Nolan Cromwell is the special teams coach, former Ram defensive back in decathlete.
Holding number 39 on the receiving team. Penalized half the distance to the goal. First down.
Mike Pryor. So Green Bay starts from the 8. 10:59 left in the 3rd. It's Dallas 15. Green Bay nothing. Tonight's Prudential Monday Night Football fact: Brett Favre has thrown TD passes to 9 different players, 2 shy of the NFL record. And his pass here is caught by Edgar Bennett. Bennett is one of those 9. He has 1 touchdown grab this season. The NFL record, Sammy Baugh many years ago, and Dan Marino early in his career, each throwing to 11. And there they are, the 9 that have caught touchdown passes this season. Chimura not on that list, but he's hurt right now. Desmond Howard, another guy he hasn't hooked up with. And Thomas in the backup tight end, so we would have a shot at tying the record. 2nd down and 5. Little dump off over the middle intended for Beebe, and Don looks around and wants a flag, and there is none. 3rd down.
I think right now Brett Favre and the Packers would settle for a pass for a 1st down. Seems silly talking about touchdowns with the Green Bay Packers right now. They'd like a 1st down.
Boy, they have
look at that hold. That's a pretty good job of holding in there by Fred Strickland.
But they have taken Beebe right out of this game. He is the only veteran receiver they have.
That's the best way to do it. Wrap him up before the ball comes.
They mauling coming off the line of scrimmage. They're double covering him. They're just not concerned with the Derek Mays and the Anthony Morgans and the Terry Mickens.
3rd and 5. Favre is 8 out of 14 for a measly 52 yards. And this one is caught at the 23 by Beebe, who does a mini spike out of bounds as if to indicate, all right, let's get something going now.
Well, it's a 1st down. That is cause for celebration. It's the 4th one of the game. 4th one of the game.
Beebe's first reception.
Well run route. Good pass from Brett Favre. And boy, did they need this.
This time, pretty good protection.
Seems silly to get that excited about a 1st down, but Their defense forced Dallas into a 3 and out. They owe these guys to keep the ball for a while.
A release of frustration, but the frustration is again in evidence here as Chad Henning stops Edgar Bennett. No game. Monday Night Football from the Metroplex being brought to you by Dr. Pepper and your local Dr. Pepper bottler. Dr. Pepper is just what the doctor ordered. America Online, the future, now available. And Ford and your Ford dealer. Have you driven a Ford lately? Second and 11. 9:45 left third quarter. 15-0 Cowboys. Bennett threading his way up to the 27-yard line. It'll set up a 3rd down and 6.
Now here's the situation when Favre looks around that huddle, and he would never say it, but he would certainly like to have a Robert Brooks and Antonio Freeman, Mark Chimera. He's looking at a lot of young receivers that he's not had that much of a chance to work with.
Dallas rushing only 3 and enough pressure to force the issue. And Howard, the intended receiver, and that's incomplete, and it's 4th down.
But that is a Brett Favre trying to make something happen. Mike Holmgren just shudders when he sees that. Favre crossed his chest, is going to run for it, then got a shadow of a receiver and threw it up, one that could have been picked off very easily. He's a great competitor, always trying to make the play.
Kelvin Martin back to receive it. Already run 5 of them back tonight. Hentrick, good, deep kick, 18-yard line. And taken down. It's a great tackle by Ron Cox at the 17-yard line. The speedy Cox, linebacker by trade, getting down there to wrap him up. 56-yard punt, 0 on the return.
You know, Chicago Bear made a good move on that one. A lot of speed.
And we've got a flag down all the way across the field back near the line of scrimmage, sitting over near the white stripe. Abizano looks on quizzically, as do we. Face mask call against the Cowboys.
Would have probably
5 yards only, 42 on the receiving team during the kick, 5 yards, 1st down.
probably against one of the outside cover men, Charlie Williams.
Tom Lovat, the Packers offensive line coach, going over some of the formations, trying to figure it out. But this is complete domination by Dallas defensively.
This is Ford Escort. It's new and it's nifty. It's made for the smart, the intelligent thrifty. It's new out and in.
Oh, I'm sure that when Dave Campo, the Dallas defensive coordinator, was putting in his game plan, he didn't see it working this well. 76 total yards for the Green Bay Packers. They've only been in Dallas territory one time. They made it down to the 45-yard line. There is Dave Campo, and he is watching his defensive football team just play an absolutely perfect ballgame.
And Dave can laugh and smile. 3-to-1 ratio in yardage. His club leading 15-0 and backed up to its own 9-yard line as this drive commences. 8:46 left in the third quarter. Emmitt Smith up to the 15-yard line. Picking with 7. Ron Cox now in at middle backer makes the tackle.
And we're moving into that part of the ball game where we have seen it so many times before. You see valiant defensive efforts. They give it all they can. But this big line leaning on them, pounding on them, working on them, this is when it starts to show. This is when the 330 and the 350-pound guys coming at you really starts to assert itself.
2nd and 3 at the 15-yard line. Smith again. And the defensive line does its job. It'll be 3rd down and 2 at the 16. Gabe Wilkins makes the tackle.
Remember Mike Holmgren last night telling us that in those 6 wins down here in the last 3 years, we asked him to pick one thing that really killed them, and he said, no doubt about it, the Dallas offensive line. They took control of every one of those ball games and took us out of it.
3rd down and a long 2. 7.5 minutes left in the 3rd. And a low pass is incomplete. Would have been the first down. Irvin covered by Doug Evans on the play. And that's the 3rd time in this half that it's been 3 and out for the Cowboys.
Oh, this is the way you got to cover a guy on short yardage. Doug Evans gets right in the face of Michael Irvin. He really stands him up, but yet Troy looked like he delivered that ball to Irvin. Low. Looked like it could have been caught.
That's well played by Evans. He was right in his face.
Jet to punt. Howard to receive it. No block kicks. No fumbles. No opponent touchdown returns for John Jett. He's been perfect.
Well, it's a good-looking kick.
Howard from the 35 and taken down at the 41-yard line. The tackle made there by Jim Schwann, doing a great job on special teams. 49-yard boot. 7:07 left in the 3rd. Still 15-0. Cowboys.
What an extraordinary time to be a child. Now that we can surf the internet through our TVs, the world is literally at their fingertips. Children are our future. The better we make the world for them, the better we make the world for us.
Web TV from Philips Magnavox. The power
from Miami. Monday Night Football next week. Pittsburgh at Miami. Packers have it at the 41 as they begin this drive. 7:07 left in the 3rd quarter. 15-0 Dallas. All-out blitz. Favre under pressure. Escapes. And then runs out of bounds. Forced out up at the 45-yard line and is mad. Tony Casillas gave him a late shove, at least in Favre's mind. And Brett having a word or two with Tony.
Well, he is a competitor and also a very gifted athlete. There are not a lot of quarterbacks could have got out of the jam. There was a full blitz on by Dallas. They didn't have enough people picking it up.
I don't think Casillas really shoved him with any intent to do anything. There's Tony coming in. He actually just
pat on the back.
Yeah. It looked like he kind of faked Brett out. It looked like he was going to give him a big shove, but then really all he did was tap him on the back.
Hey, Favre plays with a real intensity, and he reacts to almost anything emotionally, and he's really up there.
Well, he's got reason to be upset.
Yeah. Oh, his frustration level is pretty high right now. Down by 15 on 2nd and 6. He gives it to Bennett. And Bennett picks up a first down. And Green Bay finally gets a decent run.
And they're into uncharted waters here.
39 of Dallas.
They're at a place on this football field they've not been before.
And that's the play that's worked well for them before. Their big pickup in the first quarter was that little quick dart to the outside by Bennett.
Keep in mind the Green Bay Packers came into this ball game actually averaging more yards on the ground than the Dallas Cowboys. I'd stay with it. The passing game is zilch.
Bennett gets it again. He has 6 carries for 36 yards and a good run here before he's forced out by George Teague. So Green Bay finally showing some offensive life. And the good news for Green Bay, of course, is that with a 2-point conversion, they're 2 touchdowns and a couple of conversions away from taking the lead.
Packers might be on to a little something here. They're able to get to the outside with Bennett. And I think a lot of it is that with Brock Marion out of it, George Teague does not play Dallas type of safety. Those 2 safety men, Woodson and Marion, were like linebackers back there, and they were tough on that sweep.
Although that was a Dallas type hit. That was a good poke by Teague.
Packers' deepest penetration. William Henderson, the fullback, takes it inside the 30. That should be enough for a first down at the 29-yard line with 5.5 minutes remaining in the 3rd quarter.
There's no question right now that if the Green Bay Packers can somehow find their way into the end zone, all of a sudden everybody in this stadium starts getting a little bit antsy. Almost 5 yards per carry there you see for the Packers. 4.9, those are the kind of rushing numbers that win you ball games. But all of a sudden, if Green Bay could get a score here, things start to get a little bit tight.
Spread formation. They make Bennett a wide receiver. That's Bennett at the top of the screen. They fake it. Favre dumps it off underneath. Keith Jackson gets upended at the 23-yard line after a gain of 5. Kevin Smith with a tackle, and the first time tonight Dave Campo's defense has really been tested.
Well, that ball got away from Keith Jackson, but they blew the whistle, said he was down. Take a look at Jackson. Just a little fake block on the inside. Now keep in mind that Favre is rolling out to the right. Jackson is wide open. He tries to get a couple more yards out of it by going over the top. And good call. There he was down.
Puts a lot of pressure on Brett Favre, though. He's got to deal with Tony Tolbert being right in his face.
Second down for Bennett, just inside the 20-yard line, and he'll be a little short of the first down. Third and a long one.
When Strickland saved a big pickup or even maybe a touchdown.
Hopefully Strickland saved himself from some plastic surgery, making the tackle without a helmet on.
Strickland a year ago, of course, was playing for these Green Bay Packers.
He comes in from the left here. There's Fred, number 55. His helmet's already gone, and he still goes in there and makes the tackle. Now, that kind of defines and illustrates toughness from a middle linebacker. He lost that helmet before the tackle.
Third and a long one. Dorsey Levens can't get it.
Oh, boy, this will be some big call here. They're going to have to go for it.
Well, let's...
Yeah, I think they do too. Yeah, a field goal puts you down by 12. You still have to get a touchdown and at least 2 more field goals.
Well, unless Mike's conventional thinking is that
he wants to know how far. Nobody's told him yet.
Right, but his thinking might be that he's 2 touchdowns and a field goal behind. You know, not necessarily looking at it as going for 2. If he's thinking that way, he'll kick the field goal. Looks like he's about a good foot and a half, 2 feet maybe.
Well, enough that they are not going to measure it, so they're going to call timeout. Green Bay.
The timeout they might wish they had later.
And they want to make certain of what they're doing here. Earl Dotson taking on some fluids.
So Holmgren, there's Jackie, and he's loosening up for what he hopes will be an extra point. And again, a reminder, a great AFC matchup coming your way next week. To Miami we go. The Pittsburgh Steelers 8-3 and on top in the AFC Central Division, coming off their win yesterday against Jacksonville. The Dolphins, Jimmy Johnson's team, 6-5, huge win, comeback win yesterday against the Houston Oilers. So they go home, still very much in the thick of things in the playoff hunt. AFC has Denver with its best record in the conference at 10-1. And then the Steelers and Buffalo next best at 8-3 along with Kansas City. Green Bay this season 0 for 5 on 4th down conversions.
You know, earlier on a short yardage situation, we saw the quarterback sneak by Brett Favre, but that was by about a foot. This is almost a yard. And Fred Strickland had a little equipment repair.
Well, he doesn't want to lose that helmet again.
This will be an interesting call.
4th and 1, 2:41 left, third quarter. 15-0 Dallas.
4 wide receivers.
Only Levens in the backfield. Levens. Very close.
Oh, it'll be close.
Well,
Fred Strickland was
got
there.
A good mark, though.
Well, Dallas took a chance. They came up and played the run, even though there was a 4-receiver spread. They went single coverage on all 4 of those receivers and jammed the box and played the run. A very calculated gamble that time by Dave Campo, and he might have won it. He got rid of the safeties. He brought them up on the line of scrimmage, went single coverage on all 4 guys, and I don't think that's what the Packers were expecting.
It is a first down.
They got it.
And one day they may look back on that measurement. We'll see what happens. Play it out.
Look at all the Cowboys on the line of scrimmage. The safeties that the Packers were hoping were back there respecting the fact that they were in a 4-receiver set, came up, and when I look at it right there, you got to wonder where that spot came from. It didn't look like he got anywhere close to that.
Had a lot of cheese on it.
A lot of baloney, too. From the 18-yard line, Favre throws, and it is caught. Oh, no. Keith Jackson wanted a flag as the ball went in there. His body language indicated he had it, and all he was doing was turning around and saying, where's the flag?
And Favre basically threw that away. Jackson looked like he was going to break into the open. He ran into the coverage of George Teague. Favre saw it just as he released it, threw it right into the ground.
Al, I'm with you. The ball, I wondered where the ball went.
Yeah.
The ball skipped right up the tunnel, I think, so fast it disappeared. There's
Jackson makes a move to the outside. He looks like he's open, but here comes Teague. Favre sees it, throws it into the ground.
With the naked eye, it looked like he caught it for a moment as Levens picks up a yard and a half, maybe to the 16-yard line. Tolbert and Schwanson on the tackle, and another critical third down play coming up.
Well, he felt somebody graze his arm. He really wasn't held. That truly is incidental contact.
Right after that run, Favre turned around and looked at Mike Holmgren and kind of held up his hands like, what are we doing?
3rd and 9, 11th play of this drive, 1:36 remaining third quarter. Off a 4-man rush, it is caught, but well short of the first down by Henderson at the 13-yard line. It'll be 4th and 5.
And now you got to kick it.
Schwantz makes the tackle, and here comes Chris Jackie in to try to make it 15-3.
Again, a nice ovation for the Cowboy defensive team. Just solid work by Schwantz. You just can't expect the coverage better than that from a linebacker. Every guy for Green Bay trying to run a pattern is covered.
32-yard attempt, and of all things, no good.
They worked so hard to put those points on the board.
That's a killer. Plays, no points.
It'd be hard to describe the feeling that Chris Jackie has right at this moment. The chip shot.
May none of you know it.
Maybe turn the hand over a little to the right, hook it to the left.
Well, Holmgren's expression said it all. Gabe Wilkins. That says it as well. Dallas at the 23. Aikman throws, caught up at the 32-yard line by Michael Irvin, bumped out by Newsome in the final minute of the third quarter. So Favre leads them down the field. They convert by inches on 4th down, and then Jackie with a chip shot, and Chris Jackie, one of the best ever. Mark Chmura can only sit and contemplate. 2nd and 1, 9-yard pickup on the last play. And Emmitt Smith gives them a first down, and they'll begin the fourth quarter at their own 36-yard line as the clock ticks down. George Kuntz makes the stop. That's the end of the third quarter in Irving, Texas. Dallas 15, Green Bay nothing. Monday Night Football resumes after this from our ABC station.
Ted Danson traveled the world to solve a mystery.
It's out there. I know it is.
What he found was the key to his heart. A love story that will make you believe.
I've waited my entire life for this.
Loch Ness, ABC Saturday.
Holiday packages in the air. Holiday packages everywhere. Bright faces are all a-glowing. $20,000 could be showing. May all your hopes and dreams come true. This holiday wish is for you. Holiday packages.
Fourth quarter, Al Michaels, Frank Gifford, Dan Dierdorf, Lynn Swan, Dallas leading 15-0, and Emmett Smith begins the fourth quarter with a loss. Gilbert Brown making the stop, but the Cowboys can now begin to think about trying to take as much time off the clock as they can. They've been dominant, lead 15-0.
Gilbert Brown just splits a double team between Ray Donaldson and Nate Newton. You know, one of the things that Dallas has to look to for the future and for the rest of this year is the age of this offensive line. You know, Mark Tuaney is 36. Nate Newton's going to be 35 next month. Ray Donaldson, the center, is 38. This is by far and away the oldest offensive line in the league, as well as the biggest.
Second and 12, the catch is made. Eric Bjornsson, the tight end, up at the 41-yard line. George Kuntz makes the stop. Bjornsson came into tonight's game as their leading receiver with 42 catches. And a lot of that, of course, has to do with Michael Irvin's early season suspension. But Bjornsson getting to play, obviously, as the starter in the absence of Jay Novacek, and they are not expecting Novacek to play this season.
He's much like Novacek. Doesn't really have the experience or some of the skills of Novacek, but he is not a real classy tight end type blocker, but he can get in somebody's face, but he is like a wide receiver playing tight end.
3rd and 6. And that is Deion Sanders making a big catch to convert for a first down at the 48-9-yard line.
That was a terrific catch. The other thing Aikman said about Deion Sanders when he wasn't praising him as one of the great receivers he's known is the fact that he said, this is the greatest athlete that I've ever been around. And look at the move. You got to respect his speed, as it is white hot. And that's exactly what he got from Craig Newsome. A lot of respect. He hooked up, made a good catch.
But he hooked up expecting the ball to be on the inside. The ball was to the outside. And you're right, Frank. That spin move to come back and corral that football was nice work by Deion.
Deion with a pair of catchers tonight for 14 yards. Swing pass. Emmett Smith gets out of bounds at the 41-yard line after a pickup of 7. Well, the Cowboys next week go to the Meadowlands. They face the Giants, and they have 2 games with Washington remaining, one here on Thanksgiving, and they'll close the season at RFK.
You know, you have to wonder, Emmitt Smith, the Emmitt Smith that we have known over the years would have put the shoulder down and got that extra yard for the first down. That's, I think he's, thinking about taking care of that body. It's still beat up from some of the wounds he had early in the season. I think he's going to really start coming around here towards the end of the season.
2nd and 2. Johnston picks up a yard. Well, Frank, we can't forget about we were there opening night, the opening Monday night game with the flag down on the last play.
It was scary.
Emmett was down on the field for close to 15 minutes, taken off on a stretcher. Nobody knew what the deal was going to be with Emmett in terms of, forget football, the rest of his life. But as it turns out, he played the next week. And that's against Green Bay, and that'll be a first down.
Illegal use of hands against the Packers.
Illegal use of hands. Number 59 on a defense. Penalized 10 yards into the run. First down.
Wayne Simmons.
Wayne Simmons lined up across from Bjornsson.
We told you Bjornsson was not the classic tight end, and Simmons just flipped him. Well, by the mask, that is.
I'm assuming that was not the illegal use of hands. That something had to happen at the end of that play. Nothing wrong with what Wayne Simmons did there. Eric Bjornsson was a blocker.
Aikman, Emmett, flag thrown. 36-yard line. That might be a hold on Eric Williams.
Reggie White seems to think it is. applauding the official.
Ron Botchin, the umpire, telling Howard Rowe.
Holding number 79 on the offense. 10-yard penalty. Repeat first down.
Boy, this has been a war out there, though, Dan, all night long.
It's just fun to watch. Top of your screen, 79 is Williams. Reggie gives him the swim. Eric latches him to the inside and does a really valiant job of trying to make it not look like holding at the end by giving it the old swan dive in the upraised arms. He'd already held him prior to that.
He could have won an Emmy for that.
First and 20 from the 44. And that's Smith. Dangerous pass, but he squirts out of trouble and takes it to the 37-yard line. Broke a Santana Dotson tackle, tackled by George Kuntz. Well, Emmett's had some big Monday night games and Sundays and Thursdays as well. And there it is in the history of this series. Tony Dorsett gaining almost 1,900 yards in 25 games. And Emmett is now the second all-time ground gainer. In 14 games, he's averaged close to 120 yards per game on Monday night.
Tony Dorsett got 99 of those in one romp up in Minnesota.
And a half.
99 and a half.
A lot of Hall of Famers on that list.
Second down and 12. Sherman Williams is now in the game. And Smith gets a blow. And Reggie loses the ball, but picks it back up. Reggie Smith knocked it loose. There's a flag down, meanwhile, down at the 21-yard line, and Aikman's able to recover. And Bjornsson, who's been nursing a tender ankle, shows it right there.
Well, Reggie got Eric Williams that time, clean as can be. And it's not going to count. Eric Williams is going, thank you, thank you, thank you.
Holding number 53 on the defense. 5-yard penalty. First down.
George Kuntz on a second and 12. It's not only 5 yards, it's an automatic first. That's a killer.
Killer penalty against Green Bay.
Well, they've had two on this drive as Bjornsson goes off. Remember the illegal use of hands against Wayne Simmons? There's Reggie just beating Eric Williams around the corner. He swats the ball right out of Troy Aikman's hands. But you know something? That play never happened. It never happened. There's Bjornsson going downfield, and he is just dragged by the left arm by Kuntz, and he's hurt.
That's the ankle that's been bothering him.
Now Smith, slant to the left side, takes it to the 27, tackled by Leroy Butler. The work on Bjornsson. Derek Ware and Ty J. Armstrong are the other tight ends. Ware in there right now.
Early in the season, Bjornsson was bothered by a hamstring that kept him out of action.
He's been a hard luck case in the sense that he's had those assorted injuries, and yet at the same time he demonstrates that he's a tough guy by playing hurt. Not a question of him.
And demanding to play.
Yep. Emmett Knight.
Yep. Not spectacular, but very efficient. Here he goes again, takes it to the 25-yard line. It'll be third down and 4. Simmons making the stop along with Kuntz. Under 10 minutes to play. If the Cowboys win, I mean, a couple of weeks ago, everybody's saying, can Dallas make the playoffs? Now, you begin to think, can Dallas get home field advantage in the playoffs?
And they win tonight, and they're one game behind Washington. They play Washington on Thanksgiving Day, and they play them again on the final Sunday of the season, December 22nd.
And as we all know, the last 5 weeks of the season, it's hard to win. A lot harder to win the last 5 weeks of the season than it is the first 5.
Third down and 4. And here is Smith, who will be a little short of the first down.
We're going to see another field goal.
Well, if we see one, it'll be about a 40-yard attempt. 4th and 1. Monio has already made 5 to account for all the scoring.
Dallas not beyond Barry going for it here.
Yes.
I would be a bit surprised.
Well, I think it'd be a lot easier to go for it if it wasn't Green Bay's defense.
I tell you what, they gave him a great spot here. They have, I think they're a little short, but it's going to be very close.
We'll get the measurement. They'll have a chance to think it over, and Barry will be talking to Ernie Zampese.
The smart play is to kick the field goal. Yeah, they are 2 touchdowns and two two-point conversions from losing.
Right.
The smart play is to make Green Bay have to score 3 times to beat you.
And they'll do that too.
And not that Green Bay has shown the ability to do that, but let's say you get a lucky bounce or a fumble or an interception, who knows?
Make them score 3 times to have to win the game.
So here goes Boniol to attempt a 6th field goal, which would be a new Dallas record. The National Football League record is 7 in a game.
That's shared by a number of people?
2.
Well, that ought to keep people riveted. That's a number.
Yes. Yep, Jim Bakken, in fact, your old teammate, Dan, and Rich Carless. Bakken did it before you got there. 67, Carless in 89.
Jim Bakken, a conventional kicker. One of the old straight-on guys, one of the last great ones.
Officially 39 yards away, and that is good.
The good news they make to the bad news, the Cowboys have really struggled from the 30-yard line in against Green Bay. Double horrible night from there.
The cheese is starting to get a little moldy.
Welcome to Freedom in the Air, brought to you by Southwest Airlines. With fares so low, you have the freedom to go places. In Week 11, a combination of luck and skill helped receivers make almost mystical catches. But what storybook win was in the cards? Stay tuned.
I've been around this land of ours from sea to shining sea. And if it stands for anything, it's that every man is free. Free to roam from city to city, to ride the open range. Free to come and go at will, to grab hold of the reins. But if you want to see the country in its glory and its pride, you've got to have a trusty mount that's always ready to ride.
The Cardinals beat the Redskins 37-34 in overtime, thanks to 522 yards passing and 3 touchdown tosses.
It's caught! He dives into the end zone and scores!
Oh, we got a live one here.
Daylight, rated PG-13. Daylight breaks December 6th.
He's too weak to talk.
I'll try a long-lasting Duracell battery.
Wow, it's great to be back. I'm strong as an ox. All right, a horse. Okay, a parrot. Bada boom, bada bing.
The Copper Top. No battery is stronger, longer.
The final cockpit conversation before a value jet crashes in the Everglades, and Lou Holtz is out at Notre Dame. We'll have reaction after football.
Chris Boniol establishing a new Dallas mark. He had shared the mark of 5 with Roger Ruzek and Eddie Murray. And he sends the kickoff down to the 10. And Desmond Howard breaks it back out to the 33-yard line. Packers start from that spot, trailing the Cowboys 18-0.
You didn't have to go in weekends, but you did. You didn't have to drive the team, but you did. You didn't need to volunteer, but you did. When you take pride in what you do, you always do more than you need to. That's how it is at Pennzoil. We didn't have to achieve the tougher GF2 motor oil performance standard ahead of its time, but we did.
Pennzoil, first to fully achieve the tougher 1997 GF2 performance standard.
The Ohio State Buckeyes are heading to the Rose Bowl. But first, they take on arch rival Michigan. It's game one of a doubleheader Saturday on ABC Sports.
Sunday, two of the biggest events in women's sports, the Chase Championships, tennis competition, and then the ITT LPGA Tour Championship, tennis and golf, ladies tennis and golf, women's tennis and golf, coming up this Sunday right here on ABC. Irvin and Lett, the Dallas Cowboys in command, 18-zip. Brett Favre is 11 of 19 for a paltry 71 yards. And that's incomplete. And it looked like there were nothing but white shirts back there around.
Another one he had to throw away, Al.
Monday Night Football being brought to you by Miller Lite. When you've got the great taste of an ice cold Miller Lite, life is good. Levi's wide leg jeans, it's wide open. Microsoft software, where do you want to go today? And Pennzoil Motor Oil, first to fully achieve the tougher 1997 GF2 performance. Second and 10. Favre has it stripped, gets it back, recovers it. Chad Hennings knocked it loose, but Favre maintains possession. Third and long coming up.
Dallas right now is in a forget the run mode. They're going to be coming from every angle. They know that Favre has to throw the football.
And Green Bay, let's face it, can't break the coverage of the Cowboys. Brett Favre is moving because he sees no one open.
A great play by Chad Hennings.
But the Green Bay receivers just cannot escape this coverage blanket being thrown on them by the Cowboys.
Third down and 11. Guns it. Open man is Keith Jackson at the 50. Somehow found an open spot, and he's out of bounds at the Dallas 47. A 21-yard gain for KJ.
What a throw. Frank, on a scale of 1 to 10, that throws a 10. And that picture's a 10, too. Look at this, throwing
on the move, just on a string. He's got such a strong arm.
That's a beautiful throw.
And give Jackson some kudos. He kept it alive, gave Favre the angle so he could deliver it.
7:15 left in the fourth. 18-0 Dallas. That's caught by Terry Mickens for a gain of 5.
And did you see that one? I mean, he put something on that, too. That was good coverage.
Oh, it's excellent coverage. Woodson all over him.
And he just smoked it out there to Mickens. And Woodson, I think, thought he was in a position to pick it off. Got up with kind of a disgusted slam. That was just a bullet by Favre.
Green Bay working without a huddle. They give it to Dorsey Levens, and he gets taken down by Roger Harper short of the first down. Dallas turning in this masterful defensive performance, and keep in mind, without Charles Haley. And with two guys that Green Bay found expendable, Strickland and Teague.
Charles Haley, of course, with that surgery. If they made it to the Super Bowl, he might be back by then.
And on 3rd and 1, that's incomplete. Derek Mays couldn't handle it. 4th and a long one, and Holmgren has to go for it with 6:17 remaining in the 4th.
You know, the Mays and the Morgans and the Mickens may be something down the line, but it's almost sad to look at this Green Bay football team that has just about everything going for them except Robert Brooks and Antonio Freeman and Mark Chmura. The receivers on the other end of Brett Favre.
Should have caught that. Don't forget, they also had to overcome the loss of Sterling Sharp.
4th and 1. Favre throws and rolling and making the catch with Keith Jackson at the 20-yard line.
Another great play by Favre and another great play by Jackson to keep that alive. Running the pass pattern with Favre, which gives him a little bit of an edge, but look at the arm again.
Teague was in front of Keith Jackson, and Teague just lost his footing.
He was going for a pick.
And did he catch that?
Well, did he have control as he rolled on the stripe?
Questionable.
First down from the 19-yard line. Favre gets away from Tony Tolbert, who almost had another sack, and then throws incomplete and had a guy open in the end zone, Mickens.
Boy, he was open too. That's hard to do. Throw that back away from your body. Moving to the left, throwing to the right, almost impossible. You're looking at a number 4. It'll give you 110% every time he comes out there. Watch this now. Moving to the left. Spots the open man. Tried to flip it in there. Lost the ball out of as he released it.
2nd and 10 from the 19. Cowboys coming. Pass is incomplete. Beebe double covered by Harper and Smith. 3rd and 10. Beebe, who had such a fabulous night the last time the Pack played on Monday night against San Francisco. That's the night they lost Brooks, and Don has really stepped up. But keep in mind, he's a guy they picked up because he was a $300,000 receiver, and he fit nicely into the salary cap.
Somehow he turns back to the inside, and Brett throws the ball more to the upfield side. If Brett brings that ball back where Beebe was, that's a completion.
3rd and 10. Favre throws, and that's not caught at the 10-yard line. Keith Jackson, the receiver, and Roger Harper with the coverage.
And that looked like that hit Jackson on the hands. That had a lot on it. It would have been a real fine catch. Favre had more on that ball, mainly because the coverage was there. He was throwing right into the coverage. Should have been caught, but I mean, it just it looks easy there, but that ball had a lot on it. You mean he should have thrown it softer? I think he should have. I mean, he really couldn't risk it. And he has got a great touch.
4th and 10. At the 19, and Favre has to take a timeout. Play clock was down to 1. 5:37 remaining. Cowboys in command, 18-0. These aerial shots provided by Goodyear as you look down into Texas Stadium. The famed hole in the roof. Crowd raising the roof tonight. Cowboys 18, Packers nothing. 4th down and 10 from the 19-yard line. Softly lofted, but out of bounds. Terry Mickens clearly out of bounds. And Green Bay out of downs.
Kevin Smith, good coverage. Mickens, inexperienced, took it out of bounds at about the 10-yard line.
So how much smarter is Barry Switzer these days, huh? How many forests have been killed talking about Barry? Meanwhile, his team is about to go 7-4.
Levi's wide leg jeans. It's wide open. It's Saturday afternoon, almost game time. The TV's on, your feet are up. You've got the remote control in one hand, a great tasting ice cold Miller Lite in the other. And as you take that first ice cold sip, there's only one way to describe it.
In just 24 hours, your TV will explode. Steven Seagal guest stars on Rosambo, ABC Tuesday.
This time, it's personal.
Packers have not been zipped in 5 years. Lindy Infante was the coach before Brett Favre arrived. 10-0 back in '91. And it's a fumble, and the ball is loose, and Moose Johnston and Aikman scramble for it, and Dallas retains possession at the 12-yard line. Sherman Williams, who was coming in relief of Emmitt Smith, losing the football. And the Packers with no takeaways tonight, and this will make 3 consecutive games without one after leading the league in takeaways through the first half of the season.
Emmitt usually very sure-handed. Carrying that ball kind of high to begin with and just lost it.
Gabe Wilkins got a hand in there to help dislodge it. Now this is going to possibly force Dallas to air it out sometime in this drive to try to pick up a first down.
2nd and 18. Williams, or maybe now to the 26-yard line. We talked about Switzer before, and I'm talking about all the articles that have been written and the airtime spent of it about Barry. But you talk to his assistant coaches, they love working for him. He lets his assistants coach. And again, we made the point the last time we had him on a Monday night. I don't care who he plays, whether it's the old Kansas States and Iowa States and the rest. Barry's been a coach a long time. Never in his career, over 200 games as a coach, has his team ever lost 3 games in a row, which is astonishing.
That really is remarkable.
3rd and 5. Aikman taken down at the 24-yard line.
He's trying to get that ball.
Santana Dotson came up with it.
4th down.
And you heard the call.
3:55 to play. The one thing I love about Switzer, though, Barry doesn't care. He doesn't give a damn what they write about him or what they say about him. He really doesn't.
I've heard so many people say that, but I agree. I mean, I don't think
in his case, it's true.
He really doesn't.
He doesn't care.
In some ways, I think he enjoys the entire process.
Jet the punt. And a whistle will blow this play dead. The other thing he said, I thought was very revealing. We were talking to him a few weeks ago as Joe Avizano looks on. And it's a delay penalty. I mean, Barry has a lot of money. He doesn't come back for the money. He didn't come back for the acclaim or the rest. He said one of the great things about coming back is that his kids can now appreciate what he does. They were younger when he was at Oklahoma and he stopped. And he said, I get such a kick out of my son and my daughter enjoying what I do right now. He said, that to me is worth everything.
Well, I'd like to do that, Al, but I'm not ready to go. Put the helmet back on so Cody will know what's going on in life. How about you, Dan?
No, but it's not exactly like he had to take over the reins of Tampa Bay or something like that.
He didn't.
He only had to go from Oklahoma to Texas, and he took over the most talented team in football.
Right.
What a hardship.
In its own way, though, the pressure was enormous.
Yeah.
As Jet kicks, and it's again a huge downfield pop by Billy Davis, 2nd time tonight.
I'm not so sure Billy's better off for the experience. Well, ask Tony Dungy about the pressure. I think he's got his fair share, too. Look at that. Eric Williams is actually growing ice on his head.
Look at this hit again, but
Desmond Howard has taken some shots tonight.
29-yard punt. Desmond Howard.
And Billy Davis has delivered the first one and the last one. I think it was Davis that put the shot on him early in the game, too.
Howard might have come out of it a little better than Davis.
A real surge by Green Bay has him up to 169.
18-0 Dallas as Favre drops it off over the middle. Dorsey Levens with the tackle up at the 38-yard line. Talked about, Switzer letting assistant coaches coach. Meanwhile, Dave Campo, all of a sudden, not particularly well known as an assistant coach around the NFL, but here's a guy we're going to start talking more and more about. The defensive coordinator of the Cowboys.
Well, being a coordinator for the Cowboys, period, is a stepping stone to another head coaching opportunity. There is Dave Campo. Dave Wanstead launched from that booth to the Chicago Bears. Norv Turner Butch Davis, he went to Miami, Norv to the Skins. Right through the hands of Anthony Morgan. And those kind of credentials right there are what will send you on your way.
3rd down and 6.
It's an easy 6.
And Favre looking for a first down, and
Dion almost killed him. Dion ever wanted to have a shot, that would have been what he had. I guess he was thinking about the well-being of Brett Favre.
I think at this stage of things, Dion is a really live and let live kind of guy.
He's his own brand of, that's it.
Yeah, I got you.
They really could have pushed him out short of the first down. Of course, he'd had to get a little closer to him.
From the 45-yard line. Favre to Levens. And T will run him out of bounds in Green Bay territory with 2:40 to play.
Big cat, Leon Lett, still after the quarterback. Leon will once again make the trip to Honolulu. There are a couple of dominating defensive tackles in the National Conference. It's you can make a real argument between Leon Lett and Bryant Young of the 49ers as to which one of them is the most destructive.
You'd like to have both of them.
Oh, my Lord. If you had those two side by side, you'd be working the perimeter a lot.
1st and 10 at the 43. Favre links with Mickens.
Of course, it's not that Bryant Young exactly has chopped liver beside him in Dana Stubblefield. That's the best tandem in the NFC. In fact, it's the best tandem in football.
As you look at Texas Stadium, this is one place the Packers do not want to see again soon, and we know there are a million variables, but if Green Bay and Dallas somehow wind up with the same record, you know what the tiebreaker is, don't you, in the playoffs? The winner of this game. That's caught by the tight end Thomason, so it's conceivable that if the two teams wind up with the same mark, and there'll only be one game separating them after this one.
And of course, as we all know, they have the tiebreaker over the 49ers as well, courtesy of their win last Sunday.
Right.
At whatever stadium that is.
Remember when they were 1-3?
First down. Favre. Pressure. Dumps it off of Keith Jackson, and he takes it inside the 5-yard line.
Oh, did Favre take one right in the back of the helmet
from Tony Colbert?
What a shot Brett Favre took right there. And this 2-minute warning is coming at a good time for the Green Bay quarterback.
A minute 58 to play. 18-0 Cowboys.
Children growing up without fathers is a serious problem today in our nation. Too many come from dysfunctional families or childhoods of abuse, drugs, and violence.
He's Darren Woodson, defensive back for the Super Bowl champion Dallas Cowboys.
I made it thanks to my mom and the agencies and the programs that you helped to make possible for millions of children through the United Way. Today in our country, too many children don't have a father to teach them the important values that a father can give to his child, a male role model to look up to.
That's why he's a United Way volunteer here in Dallas. These are some of the young people from the Campfire program.
We know NFL players are role models and mentors to these kids who need someone to look up to. Our NFL fans support us on the field, and we support them in our local communities, giving children self-esteem so that they can have their own dreams. We want to invite you to join us. Be a United Way volunteer and contributor.
The NFL and the United Way, reaching those who need help, touching us all. Yeah!
Well, the only mystery right now is, will Dallas get it shut out? Favre really took a shot before the 2-minute warning, but he's back in. Tony Tolbert smacking him from behind.
Well, he gets away. You know, he gets away right there from Thomas, but there's the shot. And boy, you see the whiplash. Brett Favre's head snaps back, then forward. He needed every bit of that break to compose himself.
First and goal now from the 3-yard line. And Favre floats one, and it's caught with a flag down by Derek Mays, the rookie out of Notre Dame. Kevin Smith with the coverage. And it'll go against Smith.
Pass interference on a defense. Penalties decline. Result of the play is a touchdown.
And right now, with an onside kick coming regardless of what happens here on the extra point attempt. This is why Barry Switzer had Chris Boniol kick that field goal to take it from 15 to 18.
Good athletic move by the rookie from Notre Dame.
Right. This is
round draft pick.
There's a lot less tension in Barry Switzer's face right now because of that 6th field goal.
Right, 2-point conversion attempt here to try to cut it to 10. Favre looking for the elusive deuce, and it's dropped by Henderson in the end zone.
They're going to get a unnecessary roughness call. I think it's Tony Tolbert.
And that'll go on the kickoff.
Woodson got a hand on it.
Oh, no,
Henderson was the intended receiver.
That'll give him another try.
And back him up.
Personal foul, unnecessary roughness, late hit on a quarterback, penalized half the distance, replay.
To the 1-yard line.
It's not roughing the quarterback because he's out of the pocket. The judgment by the official that Tolbert could have pulled up.
So the 2-point effort now from the 1. A minute 53 remaining. Cowboys up by 12, 18-6.
That's one way to send a guy in motion.
Yeah. Favre throws, and it's picked off in the end zone. Didn't matter whether it was picked off or knocked down or what. Darren Woodson is there. And it's still 18-6.
No, that was mixed up from the get-go. The formation was wrong. The motion man was late. Hard to make it happen.
And for those of you keeping score at home, this does not add to Darren Woodson's interception total.
No. Or Brett Favre's interception total.
Well, I figured if you could figure out the one, you could figure out the other.
But at this hour,
that's what we're left to.
Dubious. That's right.
That's all we're left with.
Well, Green Bay is left with a trip home, a 2-game losing streak, another road trip next week to St. Louis, and then home games against Chicago and Denver.
The Packers have had 2 3-game road trips in their schedule, but they do get to finish out the majority of the year back home.
Yep.
The friendly confines of the frozen tundra.
3 of the last 4, in fact. Chicago, Denver, and Minnesota at home, and then a road game on the 15th of December at Detroit.
And I would assume that about this time of year, the tundra is starting to get a little crispy up there.
Yes.
Meanwhile, all the sure hands are on the field for the onside kick. These kickers are getting so good at this.
Well, the Packers are now in a situation where they need 2 touchdowns.
They need 2 bounces and then have a high bounce.
Yeah. You've got Hendrick kicking it to the 37-yard line, and you've got Darryl Johnston coming up with it to a Moose serenade. Joe Avisano, special teams. You know, the funny thing about the Cowboys this year, there were 2 very important plays that Avizzano Special Teams created, and both by Herschel Walker. One was a run back in the Monday night game at Philadelphia with the team 1-3. Eagles led 10-0. The vet was going insane, and Herschel had a big run back. Aikman led the team in, and Dallas got back in the game. And last week, there is Walker with a helmet on. He made a tackle against Dexter Carter on a punt return, where if Carter goes into the end zone, and would have without that tackle, San Francisco leads 17-0, and Dallas, well, it's dubious whether they win that game at 17-0. The little bitty things that sometimes don't show up can make a season for you.
Well, the Dallas Cowboys are certainly doing their best to reclaim this season. And they are now going to apply the heat in the NFC East.
Big time heat.
7-4, same record as the Eagles. One game behind the Redskins. Talk about kudos. How about the job Norv Turner and his staff have done in Washington?
Tremendous.
What a turnaround taking that ball club.
And what a great day.
8 victories in their first 11 games.
For Terry Allen overcoming those knee problems in Minnesota.
Meanwhile, Favre and the Packers will make it 0-7 in 3.5 seasons in this ballpark. In fact, in the 3 years, 93, 94, 95, when the Packers lost 6 games here, the Cowboys lost a total of 6 games here. The Cowboys were 23-6, and counting postseason in those 3 years here.
And one of the things I think the Packers have lost, as well as the ball game, is some of their swagger. I think this is a team that all of a sudden is being made aware that it has some shortcomings, that some of the personnel they have lost have not been replaced. And one of Mike Holmgren's biggest jobs right now is going to put some of the swagger back in this ball club. This is a club that's not walking and talking quite as loosely as they did earlier in the year, and for good reason.
With his offense, their West Coast offense that needs that high percentage completion, you need your Robert Brooks, and you got to have your Antonio Freemans.
Yep.
You just can't do it.
No, they're
young kids.
They're in a pickle.
Well, some teams seem to overcome injuries better than others. I mean, the Cowboys are saying, hey, we don't care about your injuries. Look at what we went through this year.
But they started the year with more good football players than any other team in the league.
And here's the backup, Sherman Williams, for a first down out of bounds at the 10-yard line.
It's plain and simple, guys. That's why the Cowboys have persevered. They started the year with more talent than anybody in the NFL. They had more to give.
And Nate Newton was shaken up on that last play. He's still on his knee, out of bounds near the 10-yard line. There is
Doug Evans comes off limping, Al. Not looking good.
Meanwhile, here's a reminder. You can check out as you look at Evans, the NFL's new internet site. Score stats, news from around the league, all there on NFL.com.
It's tough to lose a player at any time. Geez, this stage of a ball game, that's the last thing the Packers need, is to see one of their starting cornerbacks come out of the ball game with him looking at his knee.
Yep. Meanwhile, Newton trots off the field. Nate's fine.
Boom, boom. They're picking that up on a seismograph somewhere.
Little shoulder bump from Dion. The Cowboys almost dead at 1-3 and down in Philly on that Monday night in September, and Boniol tonight with 6 field goals.
They're going to kill the ball.
And the Cowboy graph going straight up, and the Green Bay graph the last 2 weeks heading south. As they head to St. Louis, Mike Holmgren will regroup to face the Rams in an ESPN game on Sunday. Cowboys take on the Giants in the Meadowlands on Sunday. We go to Miami Monday. Pittsburgh against Miami. Switzer's team now 7-4 as the clock ticks down. One more play, one more kneel down, and that'll do it. And they had one timeout left, and they used it, and Evans is going to come back.
Well, that's good.
And Boniol is going to be given an opportunity to kick a 7th field goal. So here's a case where the Cowboys
and
decided, it's a chance for a record, and let's see if we can do it.
Yeah, and you know what? I don't think Green Bay should take offense to this. I don't view this as, and I'm pretty good about not wanting to rub it in. This is a guy who gets a chance to do something really meaningful. I don't think Green Bay ought to take this the wrong way.
I don't think they should, but I think they will.
Well, that's their prerogative.
29-yard attempt.
They might not have been told it's for a record.
And Bonio kicks it through. They'll figure it out. 7 field goals for Chris tonight. So Jim Bakken was the first to do it. St. Louis against Pittsburgh in 67. Rich Carlish did it in overtime as a Viking against the Rams in 89. And Bonio does it tonight. 5 in the first half and a pair here in the second.
And imagine, now, do we have a fight going on?
Well, they did take it the wrong way. Reggie White, Michael Irvin, Dion smiling. Michael explaining that, hey man, it's a record. You got to understand.
A whole lot of Green Bay Packers leaving the bench. That's, if I were you guys, I'd be moseying back over towards the sidelines.
Reggie couldn't care less about a record.
No, they're upset about the field goal.
Sure.
Reggie White yelling at the fans in the stands.
Meanwhile, Eugene Robinson, I guess with a sense of history, congratulates Chris. Sort of.
Reggie White is just screaming at the fans in the stands. I think it's best to just head up the tunnel and head home. Something was said. Barry seems to be a little upset. All right, Michael, you can let him go.
I think some of what the minister was directing to the Cowboys bench was directed at Barry Switzer. Michael tell him, that's cool, man. Michael does get agitated, doesn't he?
Eric's saying, "Hey, Michael, I'll handle it." You know. Michael's going for the photo op.
Well, clearly, if you're the Packers, you don't care about the record books. You don't care about history at this point. You care about getting out of here. You've been beaten. You've been thrashed, and the Cowboys take a timeout.
Well, they've made their own history in a way.
Yep.
Consecutive losses here.
And kick a field goal, 21-6, Dallas. So it ends with some controversy, but it shouldn't diminish the fact that the Cowboys thoroughly dominated and outclassed the Packers tonight. This was no contest.
No, too little. I think that if I was Green Bay, I'd have more important things to get upset about.
35-yard line, Henderson breaks an Alan Campos tackle, and then a fight breaks out, and you could sense this coming at midfield.
Oh, this is really stupid. This is really stupid. Yeah, here we go. This is good. This is good. A lot of charities are going to benefit from this. This will make a lot of kids happy for Christmas. A lot of these guys' money is about to be filtered through the NFL office. I hope it felt good.
Well, it's one of those things where this will now become the focal point of a lot of the post-game coverage.
Mike Holmgren is out on the field.
He's right in the middle of it, trying to get his players off the field.
Yeah.
I like that.
What is Brett Favre doing out there? He's over there in the middle of the Dallas Cowboys. Just get in the huddle.
He's trying to make a trade for Michael Irvin.
Take a snap and let's get out of here. It appears that I have underestimated Green Bay's response to that.
So. I wasn't going to bring that up.
Well, do you think it's worth fighting over, Frank?
No, nothing is in a game.
Well, particularly when you're small.
Well, this is what started it. Obviously, the Cowboys were totally aware of the fact that Boniol had a chance to tie a record. And then they let him have the opportunity to do it.
Personal foul, 51, Green Bay. Personal foul, 42, Dallas. Ejections, first down.
At least. Charlie Williams and Brian Williams.
I don't know that losing 18-6 against 21-6 when that field goal's for an NFL record, I'm not sure that's not some misspent energy on the part of the Packers.
Well, it's also, I think there's a little bit of a cumulative effect here, too. Coming down here 7 times and getting whipped 7 times.
Well, and I think there's a lot of frustration on the part of the Green Bay defense, because I think if you'd have told those guys, we're not going to allow a touchdown tonight, and oh, by the way, you're still going to lose, I don't think they would have believed that. They didn't allow Dallas to get into the end zone, and they still lost the ball game.
13 seconds remaining. Ball at the 50-yard line. Hit as he releases, and it's Mickens at the 32-yard line with 6 seconds remaining.
This game just won't end.
So Aikman, impassive as always.
Still be a little frustrated too. The Dallas Cowboys, while they dominated between the 25-yard lines, and that was about it.
Wouldn't it be something if you got down to the tiebreaker and the tiebreaker was best net points, which is like the number 4 thing down?
Yeah, that's pretty far.
Yeah, can you imagine?
Oh, we got a flag.
And Favre launches one that winds up in Richardson.
That baby went all the way up the tunnel.
It did. And Howard Rowe will make the call here.
No time on the clock.
If it's against the defense, i.e. Dallas, the game would continue.
Personal foul, chop block on the offense, penalty refused, game is over.
And that's the way it ends. Well, Switzer and Favre embrace. Barry's team on a roll, 7-4 right now. Mike's team, 2 bumps in the road the last 2 weeks.
Well, Mike Holmgren didn't appear to be interested in any extended conversation.
No.
Well, here you go.
Williams and White after a long night. And so it ends in Irving. 7 field goals by Boniol give Dallas a 21-6 win. Next week, Steelers, Dolphins from Miami. Until then, Al Michaels, Frank Gifford, Dan Deerdorf, Lynn Swan. Good night from Irving, Texas.